I can sort Benyabiel. Okay.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to Padang Media. It has been a long time since we actually, maybe a month or so. But we the Padang Media personnel are around. We've been hosting some show. But today we came purposely to discuss some most important issue related to our country, the beloved South Sudan. Ben Wilson Wal, and the rest of Jing Padang Media welcome you for those who will be with us. Please share the link. The discussion will be based on those topics that we have posted here. Uh, I'm not going to be talking that much, but I will give the floor to Banyusan Wal to open our discussion, to highlight the topic that we're going to be discussing, and then uh, the medium of communication will be done in English and Arabic, mostly to reach our fellow South Sudanese that are actually the followers of Jing Padang medias, and also a population wherever they are in South Sudan, in neighboring countries, as well as here in the Western world. So, Ben Wilson, the floor is yours. I'll give you the floor to welcome our guests and also to open the topic that we're going to be discussing. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. Ladies and gentlemen, those who are here, we have 18 and one on the background. First of all, I will say share the video if possible to your friend, to your groups that you know, whether messenger groups, and then we will be study like Bill say, this season or this month of September. I mean, the end of October is a busy month for the people in the West, where the kid will go back to school, and also that make those who are parents to be engaged of try to find school supplies and all this. So today we came out to highlight some of the the, the topic that we suggest and today. So I really appreciate those who are going to come. It will not be only Jing Padang. We are invited people. Those who want to come, we can give them links and do an analysis of those topics. Topic are as follows. We are going to analyze about KitGwang Declaration impact for peace in South Sudan, in particular in Upper Nile State, or Upper Nile region, you can say, because members of those new organization, they came both from the three different states within Upper Nile. Some are from Unity State, some are from Jonglei, and some are from the Upper Nile. So that's the one topic we are going to talk about it. It will be very much an analysis. And topic number 2 is the PCCA failure. What are the reasons? We know that there was a recent organization formed, people coalition, civil something, civil. We are going to talk about it, why it failed. And then number 4 is follow up with the 2 months ago, the county of Malut protests, regardless of what they demand. So we want to, it will be an announcement. We want to follow up. If there are son and daughter of that area who want to come, who know what is going on, you are welcome to come and highlight. The Jing Padang media, we've spoken about it 2 months ago very much, and we challenge the authority, we challenge those. So we want, that's number 3. Number 4 is a death announcement. Jing Padang is really sorry for hearing that we had lost one of our general who was intelligent, military intelligence for a long time, since '84 up to the recent his departure. His name is called Kur. Uh, he's a son of Padang within the county Koka. So we are not yet getting his biography. When we get the biography, we will come more to talk about him. He just passed away 2 days ago. So Young Padang media is really pass condolences to the family and to the friends and to the SSPDS or the SPLA army, as we know that this guy is general from the SPLA. So that's what number 4 is, an announcement. We are not going to come on a lot about it. So before I go one-on-one with the topic, I will give it back to Comrade Biel if there are anything you want to add. And again, please share the video and you can join us. This is a topic analysis for all these 4 topics. Some are guidings, some are really uh, for the South Sudan, some are from the Upper Nile region, some are specifically from the Upper Nile State. So we all need to come and talk about it. So, Mr. Bill, I can stop here. Back to you. You are mute. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. I think you may not deal with network problem, but sure. Unmute yourself. You can mute. Well, I'll know it. Okay, yeah, I check clear. So, by the way, we know Brother Abiel is still just his network issues. So,
I don't know whether you guys can see me well, but I will.
yeah, ade karang lo irat kede marmara kuch karang aji jaliko.
No, it's there, but the light is a problem here. But anyway,
No, even me, my
I think
light
we
is.
can go on.
Okay. So the topics we already. If you have your cell phone or your device, click the topic, and then you will see the outline on the right side of your device, whether a cell phone. If you want to come in later, you will have an idea what we are talking about. So uh, back to topic number 1. Uh, we as the Southerners or Genovese, we see a month ago, uh, before it was announced, I think we talk about it to try to highlight our people with the security concern on the ground, because this is very close to the Jiang Padang territory. So we highlight people last time before it was announced, because we know that there will be risks. Anything that to do with the Riek Machar, when it's end, it does not end up with the good things. It end up with the bad. So uh, when they declare, the declaration took place, we know what happened. There was very intensive fighting among the IO, divided into 2, group of Riek Machar and group of Garwidwal and Johnson Wulon. So it was very bad. There was the fighting for the last 2 weeks ago, and they are still threatening themselves. Now, the question, would that affect peace in South Sudan or Upper Nile region or Upper Nile State specifically? The answer will be to in individual, each one of us, the way you look at it. But to me, yes, of course, there will be a problem to the peace, because one thing, it is going to delay the security arrangement based on defection that is going on from now, from last month up to now. Now it will put the IO into two groups, into so many organizations. So peace arrangement will not go smoothly. The Meta will be told to reorganize these forces, put them on the ranks, and where are they located, in what number. That's the one effect. On top of that, uh, it will affect the security within the Upper Nile region. The reason I talk Upper Nile region, those elements of the KitGwang, Iowa, and Yagnosha, Iowa, they all came from the Upper Nile region. Some are from Unity State, some came from some, you can mute yourself, Benyokoy. Some come from the Upper Nile. Yeah. We know the head of the KitGwang declaration, who call himself the CNC, he's from Jongle actually, Simon Garwidwal. So these two states within the region, they will be affected one way or another because of defection, because of supporting this side. And now the community, entire community, will be confused. Whether in Upper Nile State, we see the Upper Nile State is very more complicated than Jongle, and then Unity State. Why? Because it was already very complicated. You got people here team up with different agenda. Also, Sudanese know very well that his rebellion was not a reform or the government things. It was because of land. Now Garwidwal is rebellion nowadays because of the peace was not being implemented. And we are all aware that what is going on in the peace implementation, because we saw the final, which was last week, the new parliament was open, and what is left is security arrangement. So we, as a citizen of that state of Upper Nile, it make us to crush our head, because whenever there is something happen, it will set us back. So now the Upper Nile State, not as a region, specifically in the north part of the Upper Nile, is now in crisis. Civilians are again displaced. Some went to Sudan, and then there is a huge military tension in the area. So to me, there is a lot of effects with those declarations, because you will see world government or they themselves are going to approach the government, because they are talking that, oh, we need the thing to be implemented, to be the security arrangement to be implemented. Now, if you are talking like that, do they have now, are they talking to the government, apart from what Riek did, the so-called KitGwang arrangement? So we are really very concerned, the people of Upper Nile. It is one more again, we have been set up not to have a peace in this 2021. So the KitGwang declaration is really a problem to the peace in South Sudan and to the peace in Upper Nile region, and then the peace in Upper Nile State, because both general came from the Upper Niles. Johnson Wulonyi is from Upper Nile. Both of them are Jongole. Okay, Johnson Wulonyi is claimed to be in a PG, but if he's in a PG, then Johnson Wulonyi, Garwidwal, Dol Mabur, they are all from Jongole. But where the Rekem is located? It's located in the region where we are in. So this one thing is a big problem to the state of Upper Nile development. And that can take us back where the people of Upper Nile will support 32 states, because we find out now some of our citizens in that Upper Nile region, they don't know what they are fighting for. Some saying they are fighting with the Dinka. Some say, oh, our land is taken. Some say we are fighting because of reform. Some say, oh, the security arrangement. Some say they need Nuer state or Nuer country. For this thing is putting more confusion to the people of Upper Nile, specifically those who've been in this culture of rebellion. Like the way we see them are talking now, very much nothing will come out. The supporters of Garwidwal in outside, they are talking to mobilize themselves and they will fight the government. That's what they are saying, for those who does not hear the Nuer language. So we see this KitGwang declaration have impact to the development within the Upper Nile State and the Upper Nile region, because those warlord generals are not going to be convened by anybody. Now they will put government into two ways, either confront them militarily or try to renegotiate the new peace agreement with them, which will take a long time. So these are my take on the KitGwang declaration. That's way of my analysis. Would that cause a war? Of course, there will be war. We already see the war. They are fighting themselves within two groups, the Riek Machar group. And then there are another sleeping IO group, which is headed by Dwertut. Dwertut too is the son of Upper Nile. So when you see all these confused general or confused politicians, what will be the effect? It is the citizens of Upper Nile are not going to see the development that. So there will be a lot of issues. So I will stop there. I will come on later. Let me go to number two. Number two, the PCCA, why it failed and what are the reasons. I think so many of us have see or have analyzed it, and you can see so many obstacles. I believe before the date came, they have a show, and then Jonkor invited me to their show. I went as a South Sudanese citizen, as a member of the SPLM. So I told them the way I look at it before they went out. I say, this one is not going to succeed. And they asked me why. And I come out with my 4 reasons. Number one, the South Sudanese are divided into tribal lines. And those who divided them, these are the people who calling now for a rebellion, for a revolution. Among them, you can name them. Majority of them gang up again now to be a good boys. And some of them were calling Pacific tribe name a year ago. I told them the citizens are not united. That's one thing. Second, we have peace agreement has almost going to be finished to be implemented. The last was the parliament is implemented. So one thing left was only security arrangement. Why you don't give those people a chance? I told them that's what number two. There is no way that the IGAD are not going to listen to you. The African Union are not going to listen to the new rebellion or new revolution, because there are peace. This is costing people money and people time. And Trika are not going to agree. That was number two. Number three, I told them there are so many active rebellion outside there, being those of KitGwang, being those of Thomas Nas, being those of Paul Malone. And there were other new rebellion for those of Boy, Runya. So that one alone is another obstacle where the government will not allow the citizen to protest, because And your talk alone is giving away more how you connected with the rebel. I told them in that part. And then the fourth was the country now in a state of calling for helping. The country now, because of the mother nature, there is a plot in the country right now. People, they are looking for a place to go to be safe. A lot of places are now in water, especially in Upper Nile. You can see in Jongle, you can see in Upper Nile State and Unity State. So where do you going to get people to come and protesting? Maybe in Juba, maybe in Malakal town, they were calling people of the Unimis and those who were in somewhere. And so this is what I was telling them last time before the protests go out. This were my own opinion. They may not be true to all of you, but when the day come, the D-Day, what they call the D-Day, I think all of us were witness. Nobody show up, whether those who are in UN or in Juba or in, they were very blindfold. And we see a lot of, even the IO themselves, they were calling their own members not to show up because this is very complicated. And within that show, I was there last time, the people were even writing, saying that this is another Young Council of Elder game to come up with the leadership again and took the over. It's going to be a Dinka government. So there were comments like that, which is taking me back to what I was saying. We are still on a tribal line. Any Dinka will come up, whether you are a good Dinka or you become a president today, people will still have that mindset where the Dinka were being betrayed as a bad people. So without sitting down as a citizen and try to differentiate between tribe and the government, of course, president will come to any tribe later, not only Dinka. But is it the way we are going to continue? If president become a Mundari or become Morle tomorrow, we are going to criticize Morle? I don't think so. We have to criticize the government where it got a parliament, members come from different county, different state, where the ministers come from different ethnic background. As we speak, some are stealing today. Majority of the Garwich supporters, the Riek Machar, they are calling government of the Dinka. While you have two vice presidents, they are from Nuer, Tabanding and Riek Machar, and one vice president from Equatoria, and another two vice president from the Dinka. So I believe it's the same reason that make this organization to fail and make it worse. There were at least, because our technician media are not here today, we would have to show you how they came up with the quick government, form of their government. And when you look at this list, Barao, there is no different, even worse than Salva Kiir Mayardit government, because the lead we see, it was all looked to me as a Dinka government again. And not the whole Dinka, it's Pacific area of the Dinka section who are advocating for this rebellion. For that alone, it's really sent a message. On top of that, those who are calling to be part of that government, they are not in the country. Majority of them have a dual citizen. So the question, would the South Sudanese who are in Sudan, should people from outside just move majority of them and to become their leader? That's another question the South Sudanese will lead. We know that we who came to United States here is very clear. The United States rule say, if you are not born in the United States, you cannot become a president. That's one of the United States in the Constitution. If you did not born in the United States, do not tell me you are smarter than who, you cannot become a president. So majority of us who came here, even our kids that who born here, maybe 1% if they luck. So the reason I say all these things, those who were calling for regime change, they are not in the country. They are still in the foreign lands, try uh, to become a government official. Some of them announce themselves they are president. Some are minister of what. So that thing too add into to me that these people, they were really having a plan of what they are talking about it. So they want to destroy the country. To me, I will tell them that they may be a foreign agency who are fund them, because I live in this country. I know exactly what are the main agenda of the Western world to do when it comes to the others African country or others third world. The number one of the whole agency of the Western world is to topple the regime that they don't like. If they don't comply with their interests, they can make a coup that will kill people. They can plan a coup. They can give away the money. They can destroy that country for good. So that's alone make the so-called PCC fail. On top of that, even we in diaspora here, some of them, they are not even seeing themselves with the Dinka face to face. Sometimes people like Edward Achek, who become a minister of the new government, he's the one who telling us a year ago the Dinka came from Senegal. He was telling us that a matter of hour he can defeat his own Dinka Padang in PG within 2 hours. The same Majasip, the same Teresa, the same Jonkor, who Dinka been insulted and betrayed in front of him every day. So without unity of the South Sudanese to come together and differentiate between the government and tribe, we will not go nowhere. That the facts. You can try so many times, but a lot of us will never join you because we know your agenda. Now, the thing to do with Malut protests, we are still follow up, but we did not get update. But the message tonight, if there are son and daughter of that Malus County, we know they went out 2 months ago, and we spoken with some of the leaders who were the heading protests. So there were a referendum of understanding with the thing that they demand. The government is going to start last month. So we want them here anytime to call us and give us update. Where are you guys are now? Are the things started? Things like environment, school, road, hospital. So these were the other thing that for the Mulus issue, we are not going to talk about it very much because we don't have somebody here to tell us more detail, but we are going to connect with them or call them and let them come to the show and highlight us. Number 4, I already said before, for those who just come late, we lost one of our brother. He's the general, military intelligence general from Jiang Padang, just passed away 2 days ago. And his name is Dekur. We are going to talk more about him when we got his biography, and we will tell you more about it. I know the guy personally, and some of us know him. We met before in '88 in Itang, and then recently in 1997, these were the team sent by Dr. John to come and go and mobilize people and go to Kurmuk. So he was in Kurmuk. Those who were in Nila Lazarek know the guy. He's very, 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 very good fighters. I believe he's from Koryom or from Taigo Simsara. I am not sure his division, but he's one of the first group that who went there. So he just passed away. So we give our condolences to the family and to the Jiang Padang and to the friends. We'll talk more about him. Brothers and sisters, I think I took a long time. I will stop here. Benjamin, you can take it back. If there are people who want to come, we send link there. We send link out. It is an analysis, because the problem South Sudanese have no good analysis, and our politics cannot go nowhere. Being a good politician is to analyze the thing and then predict the things. They may not be. That's how the scientists. Some of the scientists, they have a wisdom of predicting. Some of the people, they have a wisdom of analyzing the things, how the thing will turn out. But majority of us, we need a shortcut. Yes, we want to do it today, but what are the advantages and disadvantages? Nobody want to talk about it. We will just be surprised when we are in problem. So we are welcome everybody to come and do his own analysis here, and let's hear from you. Give people 3 to 5 minutes to do analyze. Guys, I will stop here. You can take it back. Thank you.
Before I give the floor to Brother Okot, I just want to make some comment. I don't know if you guys can hear me very well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I just want to let the viewers of Jing Padang know that we, the people that is sitting here tonight, I mean this evening, discussing this issue, our most important is that we all love South Sudan. We care about the life of our people. That the South Sudanese have suffered enough. The people of Upper Nile have suffered enough. I can believe that there was no single community that have not suffered because of the war in our country. And because of the love of our country, the love of our people, that's why we have the time to come and discuss the issue that may impact their life. I also want people who are supporters of KitGwang Declaration to understand our perspectives as a community in Upper Nile State. We are not against your own faction or your own breaking apart within the SPLM-IO. Whether you are for the new KitGwang Declaration or whether you are supporting the first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, we are not here to question your judgment. But what we want to say is that the impact of that declaration in Upper Nile State or in South Sudan, what are the impact on terms of security? Because whether you fought among yourself, the people that are dying are all South Sudanese. Whether they are Nuer, whether they are Shiluk, whether they are any tribe, they are all South Sudanese. And this is not the time that our people continue to die because of the issue of the misunderstanding of the leadership or where the direction is going to. The same thing applies to what is happening in South Sudan. When the SPLM leaders disagree among themselves, we have now bear the consequence of the agreement. South Sudan suffered very much because of the top leadership that have disagreed on how to lead that nation. They have disagree on whom should continue to lead the country of South Sudan. And we have seen the impact of the people that have died since 2013. 7 years down the road later, we still have people in neighboring countries. People are in internal displaced camp in their own country. Whether you are in POC or whether you are displaced somewhere, the ordinary people are the ones suffering. Now, Dr. Machar and the President Salva Kiir make an agreement, and they continue to live a lavish life that the ordinary citizens are not enjoying. And that's why when you see us coming to this social media, especially with the people of Jing Padang, especially the leaders of Jing Padang, when we come to this social media and discuss, it is that we are concerned about where the country is going to, whether within the rebel movement or within the country. But what we disagree with our fellow South Sudanese is how we want this government to be changed. That is the term of disagreement. There are those who want that government of President Kiir to be changed through the armed rebellion, and there are those of us that continue to say that changing this government through the armed rebellion cannot resolve the issue that we have in our country. It is only through dialogue, it's only through peaceful, democratic process that we all enjoy in our countries that we call second home, whether you are in Canada, in America, or in other European countries. We do understand that the language of democracy is not through the armed rebellion. And that's why we question what are the impact of this KitGwang declaration. Of course, the peace agreement has been signed in 2018, or 2015, for example. The Khartoum peace agreement that brought the first 5 deputies in a small country that has 11 million population. The Khartoum peace agreement that have brought over 550 members of parliament. The Khartoum peace agreement that have produced a large government, whether in the state level. It is all, we say, it is because of the peace that why we have this government. That's why we have this large government. That's why we have this 5 BP in South Sudan. If it was the will of people of South Sudan, I think they could have opted for a lenient government, a small government, so that the resources can be used effectively in giving services to the people of South Sudan. But today, the 500 members of parliament, they are residing in Juba. Today, the 5 BP, they are in Juba. Today, President Kiir and Dr. Machar, they are in Juba. But our people are continuing to suffer in Upper Nile State, in Jonglei State, in Unity State, in Kapota, Eastern Equatoria, Western Equatoria, Central Equatoria, Northern Barkazal, Western Barkazal, Lagos State. The ordinary people are suffering. And that's why we say it was not a wise decision for KitGwang declaration to be made when the peace process, even though it's very slow in terms of implementation. But we say that this disagreement, the declaration now cost the life of innocent South Sudanese. And I said earlier, it doesn't have to be the Dinka. That's why I'll be saying this thing is affecting us. It should not be the Nuer or the Shuluk or the other tribe, the 64 tribe in South Sudan. As long as a single South Sudanese are losing life because of disagreement, whether militarily or politically, that loss of one life is a great loss to the nation of South Sudan. And that's why we are saying that the declaration of KitGwang declaration was unwise at this time. They should have waited enough for the peace implementation to continue. 1 week after they sworn in of the 555 members of parliament, we have heard that Simon Garwich declared himself as the leader of the SPLM-IO. I think 4 weeks before that, or 3 weeks before that, we have heard that Beartooth declared himself as the leader of SPLM-IO, and Dr. Machar continued to stay in his position as the leader of SPLM-IO. But this is your own political differences. But what we are concerning is because it will impact the security of our people, whether in Upper Nile State or in South Sudan as a whole. Because if there's a war in Upper Nile State, means South Sudan will not be in peace. Because they say that, even if the one part is bleeding, you will also feel the pain in your body. And that's why we are saying that if They are for peace implementation. Of course, we have no option of saying that why did they decided to break away from the SPLM-IO. But what we are concerned is that what will be the impact as long as President Kiir is not willing to actually replace Dr. Machar and bring in Simon Garwit as the chairman of the SPLM-IO, because there's a peace agreement that was signed. We are only here for someone that continue to support the Khartoum peace agreement. It's very slow. It has a large numbers, large government. It produced that 500 members of parliament. But our question as members of Padang community in Upper Nile State, the life of people is that we want to let them know that it will, of course, will impact them. Because if there's a war, if there's a war, it happened that the SPLM-IO led by Simon Garwit fought the government. Of course, the innocent people of Upper Padang or the Upper Nile State will be the people to be the victim of that war in their region. Now let's talk about the PCCA. You know, the PPCA make a declaration, and I want people of South Sudan also to understand this. Peaceful demonstration is allowed in the Constitution of Government of South Sudan, the Constitution of the Government of South Sudan, the Constitution of South Sudan, for example. But what is not allowed is that to come and make a declaration that the objective of that uprising is to topple the government. If they were to rise up and say that we are going for a peaceful demonstration demanding the services of people to be given in South Sudan, we are demanding that we need a good hospital. We are demanding that we need better services. We are demanding that we need a school for our people. We are demanding that we need a better security in South Sudan. I think South Sudan would have not have option of questioning the motive behind that uprising. But what I object, I personally, is that when they came and announced that they will go for a peaceful popular uprising with the objective of toppling the government. When you bring these two together, it's not longer a peaceful demonstration. Even here in the West, where the democracy has been, say that the champion of democracy, you don't see people going to the street with the objective of toppling the government. But you see people going to the street demanding that the government has to give a better services. For example, when what they call Black Lives Matter, when they go for the street, they didn't say that we need, they say that our lives matter because they are continuing to be killed by police, that the government has to do something, reform the police service in the United States. When they go to the street saying that what they call Me Too movement, they go back because of the harassment, that's why the women actually took that one so the government can listen to them. That there's something wrong, that people that have political upper hands continue to, whether you have money, for example, in Hollywood, they continue to harass this, young actress, whether the actress or actress, that go to them in the street. But I have never seen people going to the street with that objective. Of course, it starts with services. But if the government continue not to deliver the services, then from the street, it can boil up into that the government has to go. But I think the leaders of the PCCA have declared that the objective is to go and topple the government, and therefore they're asking innocent South Sudanese to go to the street. While most of the leaders are not even in South Sudan. When if they are in South Sudan, they did not even take the initiative to go to the street and ask for that we need this government to go. It was wrong, and we have seen the political or the social fabric that was broken in South Sudan because of the 2013 man-made, SPLM war among themselves that caused the issue that we had in South Sudan. And we know that it will not be successful, a successful quest when you asking the innocent people that in Juba or in Malakal, for example, or in Wau, or in Bor, or in other major towns in South Sudan to go to the street so that they can be topple this government of President Kiir. What I say is that, yes, if you are not satisfied or you are not actually happy with this government, why don't you make a coalition that can actually bring one candidate that will challenge whether the SPLM candidate, whether it's President Kiir or anybody, and say that the SPLM has failed to provide services to the people of South Sudan. I personally believe that there's something wrong within our country. We all know that there's no better road, there's no security, there's no services in all over South Sudan. And having the country alone, the best of the nation alone, cannot be enough. It's not enough. We liberate ourselves from the Arab, but that is not enough. What is needed is the services that can be provided to the people of South Sudan. I believe that many of us here, even the ministers in the government of President Kiir, even these members of parliament, continue to have the families in the neighboring countries. In Uganda, in Kenya, in Tanzania, even here in the West, they continue to have their families abroad. But there's a saying that, where your family is where your heart is. It means that the same people that are political leaders in our countries cannot work for the betterment of the country when the families continue to enjoy better services, continue to live in Kenya, continue to live in Uganda, in other neighboring countries. While how could they provide services to the nation? How can they bring good school when your sons or daughters are actually schooling in a better school in Kenya and in Uganda? How could they do that? If I was President Kiir, I will issue a decree asking any members of parliament, any ministers in the government of South Sudan, whether federal or in state level, to bring in their families in South Sudan. And I believe that if they all have their families in South Sudan, including the president himself, they will focus on one thing, is to provide the services to the people that are much needed. But people that are actually in South Sudan now are those who are not capable to send their families in the neighboring countries, those who are not capable to send the children to the better school. Because I believe 99.9% of that government employees, whether you're employing the government, whether you're employed in the private sector in South Sudan, the families are not in that country. Whether you are also the members of SPLM, IO, the rebels, your families also is not in that country. And that's what is the big challenge that we have as South Sudanese. We need you to bring your families. And I think if this topic could be discussed in social media, why do we continue to have these families in the neighboring countries? And you are claiming that to be the members of parliament. You are claiming that to be the minister within the government of South Sudan, while your family is enjoying a better life in Uganda, in Kenya, in other countries. I think the government of South Sudan could listen to us, because there should be no need for you to continue to have your family abroad or in the neighboring countries when you're presenting the same people that you are saying you are presenting. And that is start from the leadership of the country, President Salva Kiir himself. So this is the topic that it's not a topic, but I just want to add it as a token of people that to understand why we don't see change coming in South Sudan. The third is the follow-up of Malut demonstration. We know that a few months ago, people in oil producing areas, especially Malut, went to the street asking for the better services, asking for good roads, asking for better hospital, for the school. And there was a memorandum of understanding that was signed between the civil society in Malut and also the Minister of Petroleum, and all the oil and the company that actually, Depot, the oil producing company that are extracting oil in Maluku area. So we need to follow up with this issue. What has been achieved? What has been delivered to the people that are actually demanding their services? And as soon as we get someone to be online with us, we'll bring him alive to tell people of South Sudan that yes, there are some that we have agreed with the government as well as the Ministry of Petroleum, and they have delivered some services or some of the memorandum of understanding based on that document. And this is what I just want, as Ben Wilson also said earlier, that will bring someone, because when they were in the street, we brought them here and they told people of South Sudan why they went to the street and why people in Maluku continue to suffer even though they are oil producing area. So that's why we want to follow up with that. The first topic is the announcement of the loss of one of our sons, General Elijah Biankur. First of all, I just want to say my heartfelt condolences on behalf of Jing Padang in Canada and on behalf of Jing Padang media here, that my condolences to you, to your families, to the community of Dongjol, to the county of Wakaga, to the community of Padang, and also to South Sudan. General Biankur is a person that have contributed in the struggle of our country. We have witnessed, the birth of the nation, and today the God has called him after you have seen the fruits in which he actually joined the movement at a young age. All these years he contributed, and I just want to say that may God rest his soul in peace. And as soon as we got all the geologies, we will be able to bring and read it here so that the people of South Sudan mourn with his families. And I won't ask God there to comfort the families of Elijah Biankur, the community in which he came from, the community of Dongjol, the whole entire Padang community and South Sudan. We have lost a very important figures within our communities of the Padang, and we will not forget his contribution into the struggle, the liberation of South Sudan, the independence of that nation. You have done your part. Today God has called you to be with him, and that's why we just want to remember you, that your contribution mean a lot, not only to your communities, but also to the people of South Sudan. Brother Coach, I will give the floor to you, and I don't know, someone asking for a link earlier. I will post the link again, maybe in Facebook, so that you can be able.
We put the messenger there. I don't know how to put it in messenger.
I will check whether I'll get him on a message, and then I'll send that message directly to him. So just Coach, you can take it from here, and I will come back later on when we have some more to add. I will also have an announcement after we finish our show. That particularly will be the issue of Padang communities in Canada, and I will make some announcement that pertaining to our communities and the way we should move forward. Thank you.
Chukran Banyabiel, thank you so much. Well, the Gabalil Banton.
No, it's your time.
Okay, yeah, and I will not talk too much. Lanu, you guys said everything. Lakina nabas bihawal, nahabas al-ajat al-gutudel, mungkin anama kalam folk katir. The agenda number 1 is a KitGwang declaration. Harana pengutungannya, kaya ana pengutung chuluk, especially these 2 months wala match le kamman. Yani Facebook adep. Ya nairan ci pengutungannya kaya yina mutlum tin jiang. Nairan ci pengutung chuluk, tiye jiang kaya yina mutlum. وين ما نتونغ شلوك زاد جبل بنشين لانو كل ما بينا بن كتير لايف كلويرو كايكه ولا you learn through that one. So can I message that young dog with your learner chulu? Please guys try to listen other community talk because our common goal يعني language حقنا ده اللغات هنا بنتكلم بها في الجنوب ده هم متشابه كله لو قلت بيو بيروتان شلو بيو بدينكا بيو بنوير بيو you know these three يعني نينا three نينا القبائل الثلاثة ديل ما في أي حاجة لو مشيت لحاجات جسم كله the same thing ما بفرق ده ياو بتبعملوا كلوجة شوية بس المين أيام ده Facebook ما ولا that is why it is as a Padang community we slow down a little bit عشان كده نسمع الناس دي لهم مشكلتهم شنو عشان ما تكون نخش في أجندة أنا بتكلم بعربي بتعيل مكسر أنا نسيت ذات يعني عربي أنا من ما مرقت من السودان أنا خليته أنا بتكلم باللغات الثانية لكن ياو الميديا بجبرنا عشان نتكلم بعربي عشان الناس اللي قاعدين في خرطوم ولا الناس اللي قاعدين في السودان ما بسمعوا إنجليزي كله ده عشان يسمعوا شوية ده ياو هدف أنا جيت ما عشان أنا أعرف عربي ولا كده لكن أنا قريت لقيت جريدين ولا جريد كم I don't know ما أنا وقفت هنا حاجة ندير نقول لكم KitGwang declaration انتو قاعدين تسمعوا ده ما حاجة سهل وده ياو جون كرم زمان قاعد يقول انت لو دير تعمل حاجة لو دير you know ترحل من المهل بتاعك ده للمهل تاني دير فكرة دير تخطيط عشان تخطط أول تمر بوين وتخرج بوين وتدخل بوين عشان كده الناس زي لما نو قاموا فوق عشان يعملوا ديكلاريشن لكيتجوانغ عشان قاعد يما شارع لنا وجارات كثيرة as Banyabiel put it before, we are not against this as a Padang community or a Padang media. But as long you do it, guys, in a good way, if you want your own peace with government and you don't want Ring Machar, it's up to you. We cannot say no. But حاجة نحن شايفينه فوق ده شغل ما نجيب يعني ني زي ما بقول بكلمة عربي ما نجيب لأنه ليه ما نجيب you guys it's too late for you انتوا نمتوا كتير لما الرياض ما كان سجنوا في ساوث افريقيا ده انتوا ناس كيتجوانغ كنتوا وين زي ما انا بسمع من بيل لوك وجاردون بوي قال ده ماكدونالد باتاليون في دايسبرا نازل ده كله هم ماكدونالد باتاليون انتوا يا ماكدونالد باتاليون الناس اللي انتوا عملتوا جوده في الهنايه ده I والله we get these people in Egypt we get this one in وجلما معانا انتوا يا ماكدونالد باتاليون it is shameful for you it was too late شغل كان تعملوا بدري لو كان عملتوا بدري شويه ريق مشارنا زحجانين منهم الناس اللي بيقولوا دكاتره زحجانين منهم لانه they don't know هم عارفين الثقه البواب الناس برا عشان كده يا left over بتاع ايو ده I call you I name you left over 2 years ago those left over الواحد بيقوم من النوم وما عارف بيقول في شنو you guys you sleep too much انتوا نمتوا كتير شغل كان تبدأوا شوية بدري قبل السلام ما يخش في مرحلة كان قاعد فوق أسدا كان حقكم ده كان بيكون كويس أصلا يوم مشاهدة كان حكومة عنده قرار واحد لأن انتوا مشكلتهم انتوا نات كيتجوانغ ده انتوا داري ريت عشان يفصلوا من المال الفوق ده ومال يحطوا فوقه ورويجوا لكن يا جماعة زول المضى مع حكومة do you think كلام ده سهل هو كلام ده يعني سهل يعني ما صعب عشان يشيلوا برا ويجيبوا عملي هنا جديد اتفاقية جديد مع قرويج وهل كلام ده ما بيجي اوكي كلام بتاعي لكم انتوا او رسالة بتاعي عملوا كويس انتوا watch out you guys now stuck now in the corner ولا ماشيين جمال السودان ولا جايين جنوب الأصل الكبار اليومات الأولى يسرقوا أقول لك كان سرقوا من الحكومة ده يعودا نادرين مشاهدة كله شالوا كله وبودوا للحكومة نادرين مشاهدة في البحر وفي شنو شالوا كله طيب انتوا هسه ما دايرين تبدأوا من زيرو ده بكون زي ماشي فوق لسما بقبل انتوا يا ناس أقول لك ده وده يا حاجة قاعدين نقولوا زمان بنقول يا جماعة حاجة بقولوا ريفولوشن ده ما بيعملوا كب ساكت كده think first فكر أول قال والله يا أخي Padang شال أراضي بتاعنا Padang شال أراضي بتاعنا أوكي ده يا هو مشيت شكلت فوقه Padang ما داري شكله Padang ما كر ملكال زي ما ينتو دميد بدي اسمه بريزا ده ما قال نازل كربا نينا شلوك ما شكلنا مع Padang بالفعل نينا ما شكلنا والله شكلنا ما شلوك في ملكال ده نوير بتاع ايو ده مشكله بيحصل في جوبا يجي يقتل ابرياء بتاع Padang ده ياو كلامنا نينا ما دايرينو this time كان نينا كان Padang media انا داير 32 ولايات ده ريم دكتور سالفاكير يرجعوا تاني بعد شويه نينا بنتكلم ب 32 ولايات ده يرجعوا لانه ليه بدينا حريه عشان نتكلم زول ده يجي في البلد حقنا بنكون عارفين حدوده طيب analysis الناس بيعملوا في لايف هنا ده منو كان انتوا لو عارفينه كويس ده منو ولد ما قتل ضباط الكبار اللي كان بتاع نات ايو ديل ده منو كان قتل ميتا كان لهم كان ولد analysis بتاعي انا بشوف انتوا يا نات كيتجوان لو انتوا ما عملتوا حسابكم ولد ده ayatul galwi jual bat shoy oda ay kun fitna ma bin tepe apanal unina ma dairin kalenda zema ina katal tanginya do you think tanginya ma indo nas na tanginya sa zalani ma wulin lara talan you know u katal zol al mutaallim zol ismu yohannes you know هو متعلم اكتر منه قتلوا wulin المهم جاد ما بنخش فوق لكن انتوا اخوان وننا عارفين نفوسنا في أبر نايل ده ياتو قبيلة بقعد مع قبيلة وده ياتو قبيلة ما بتفق مع قبيلة نوير ما شلوك زمان كان ما بركب في لور واحد عشان من ملكال لرم ولا ما بركبوا لكن دينكا ما شلوك كان بركب لور واحد but we are not fighting that we are not claiming that one back we need a peaceful coexistence among ourselves in Upper Nile نوير ما شلوك ودينكا يقعد الصور بدون اي مشكله ده حاجه اننا طالبين so انا بقول الكيتجوان declaration ده is messy and it's not clear why because we don't understand نينا ما فاهمينه ناس زي دايرين يقولوا ناس وين بعد مره بقولوا اللي سبوك من قال فات جوبا عمل فات جوبا لشنو لو هو قال وانتوا دايرين بيس مع حكومه ما انتوا رسلوا ورق بتاعكم للحكومه وجنات بتاعكم مكتبوا الحاجه انتوا قاعدين عملتوا قال ضد السلام عشان الريجمنت ما عملوا الريجمنت ما عملوا كيف لو الريجمنت ما بيعملوا زول بقعد في جوبا انتوا يا جايز عينوا كويس انتوا شوفوا كويس انتوا KitGwang declaration شوفوا كويس بيونت نينا we are not against you لكن داير يجيب لنا ماس في Upper Nile عشان كده نينا بنقول خلي Upper Nile خلي اولا شمال النيل يكون separate administration وانتوا كده تشاكلوا نشوف انتوا هتجيبوا 200 يا وسا نوير مع نوير شلوك نوير مع شلوك وده ناس كان قاعدين باكل سوا زي ما زول قال زمان هنا زمان قاعدين في راديو في هنا دايني في اوديو في سوشيال ميديا زول اللي بيتكلم في هنا قال يا زمان كان ماشيين دين كان عشان نشاكل مع مواطنين وجاء حكومه دخل بيناتنا المشكله كان مع مواطنين عشان هو شال ارض حقنا طيب ده هو قاعدين نقول من زمان هذا Padang media يا جماعه اقول لك ده ما طلع برا ضد حكومه هم بزين مشكله مع ناس ونازل ما رفضوا هم نازل قالوا انتوا يا جماعه تعالوا نقعد تيت وجيبوا وراكم ما نمشي محاكمه ليه انتوا رفضتوا يا انتوا قتلتوا طنواي عشان انتوا تلقوا عشان طنواي ده يكون ما في تاريخ وبعدين قانون هيجي وما في زول يتكلم لكن كده انتوا زيتوا زياده ذات القتل بتاع طنوا هنا خطينا في ميديا هنا ده في الصوره بتاعه ده يا انتوا زاد عملتوا فتنه زياده. المهم انتوا عمل حسابكم، راجع حساباتكم كويس واسمعوا كويس. نينا Padang community ده نينا we are not بتاع سلام، نينا ما دايرين شكل معايزول، دايرين نقعد مع شلوك peaceful زي ما نقعد زمان. ما في اي ولا بيت زمان ولا ما بيت بيناتنا، بيت ماجور لكن ولا ما شرط يعني الدوق ده ما شرط مننا بيننا وشو. انا وي ده ياو انا ده نقول البروتست اللي بيقولوا قال البروتست يمشي فوق في جوبا ده يا جماعه نادي ما مجانين ناد هنا ايمان ولا جاوين ما مجانين ناد ايد ودين ما مجانين ابن زادو بنفسه pagana مم ده قاعد يتكلم فوق ده ما مجانين. ده بروتست بيعملوا جنوب السودان وطلع 200 عشان الناس ده ما ياو لقبه الزمان قرن قاعد يقولوا قال نينا بنطلعوا البلد ده وبعدين قال ناس المشوا في نيويورك وفي نادا بيجوا كلام ده باي ذا واي قرن قالوا في ابيي قال يا اخي بنطلع بلد بعدين وناس الكبار قال وين نجد اي جولينا ويقول قال هذا يا جماعه قال يا اخي شكرا لكم قال بلد ده طلعتوا كويس قال كده بعد اقعدوا بجاي كرنا صلحوا قال هم ندلنا من بنخلوا لهم لو كان قرن هاي والله موج يقطعوا قلوبكم كان ديشو ميت تهربان بان قرن كان بقطع قلوبكم كله لكن انتم محظوظين. So هاي سم protest ماشي وين we are against من day one ما في هاي سم protest دارين يشيلوا سلفكيده يشيلوا بإلكشن period. ده يا حاجة أنا كنا داير نقوله. بالنسبة للملوك ما انتوا عيال ملوك دكتور جون ما كلا حاجة. دكتور جون قال لي عندنا الفيديوهات بتاعه لو دايرين نعملوا بلاي ولا بنا بلاي ليه بكره. قال انت حق بتاعك لو بتعرف ما تخلي زول ما تشعب زول قال ديني نو قال شيلو. طيب انتوا يا الملوك يا عيالنا ليه 200 هنا نقول نشعب من نازل قال يا جماعه بوكو جو وينين تن ويجي تن ونبته كوش وزاد يعني نان متعليم حقنا زادو ياو نامو وبيقى زي ما انا سميت اخو فاغانا موم يوم اول مبارك قاعد يتكلم في شو قال يا اخي يعملوا تعبانين لكن قال اخر حاجه دولو قال انا مشيت تركي وجبت كم 30 قال انا جبت كم 30 ترتر يا جماعه ده لو ما كان نهايه بتاع البلد ده على الشلوك في مال الشلوك ده يجي يجيب لنا ترتراتنا في بلوي ده ما فضيه لنا هنا زول قال بخشم لو دارين فيديو رانا برسل لكم وقالوا اخو فاغاندا جورجي قال اخر حاجه نطلع لقاو قال انا مشيت تركي مشيت جبت كنت 30 تركتر لنطلع قال ده بدا اخر حاجه. وشو بس زول بقى كيف بس ما بيقوا اوفيسن في امريكا يعني اجاد الكان هو بياكلوا وين ناس الجروج كله كان فاغاندا بيشيل في يده ويمشي تركي هناك يجيب عربات بتاع الحكومه يعني الناس كانوا مرتاحين لكن ياو طلعوا برا يعني زي سمك المرق في بحر ماشي طلع برا هناك في المويه. هسه ياو بيقلب بومبي يعني ناس جورجيا مومنا هم بيجوا بيزا. هسه زول بيشوف قال سمين زول ما سمين زول بس عيان في كلام بتاع النفسيات اللي هو مرق منه ده you know لأن ياو كان هذا بياكل بلد ورا فاغانمو لكن أسوي نحن نتبلو ده وقايل الريبيوت قلوبنا بار لكن برد القلوبنا ده زادو ياو بقينا زاد يعني مروح. سو نحن أنا بقول يا يالنا يا نتبلو ما كدون ما كتير نبيت كروات كونين لكن لويك work update media يا تينكنا is not a easy thing, it's very powerful thing. أرل ريد ينرياك دول العرب ده كله ينرياك كي ولا protest يعني media جيمو تينكنا. So into ya nasna join has talu shargu mana lo ajar waqfin wen talu gulu lena ya jamana ligina da lakin da ma ligina acha niji fi media tanina ma fatin wallahi bin nabbas ay zol fi juba la nina ma fatin fi agu lo addu na gal wallahi coach yiji da wallahi dan narbudu fi matar ana ma bam shizar ana bago ne ba hajja sana fi america you know عشان كده نبغى نقول لكم jibulena nazel jibu asamat bita wala bin kutup social media in binugul filan akal kida filan amal kida filan akal kida زي ما الناس شفتوا هنا ده انه يراوا بطلع في شو كل يوم بجران بقول جران قال رينيا داك دون ابودو وين اصلا مو قاعد يعمل يوميا لما علمنا ذات تنوير منه ذات كل ما يوم رينيا داك دون بي قال رينيا نياني جيم من نياني جيم رين جديد بي كباي كوكبي يا اخي لما علمنا ذات تنوير منه عشان كده يا ناسنا ما تخاف في ميديا لو اي زول كبير وما في سياسه وبيبقى زول بتاع كوميونتي تعالينا هنا قول لنا يا جماعه كده والله هنا بنترشقوا لكم اي زول اكل حاجات وداري يعني بيكو غومبه هنا ابو غدكو طوال قولوا يا نين اتو تام كاروانا كله ملوت كاروانا كله قلوي كاروانا كله قدو والله ابو يور بن تي بدو سو ويك بد باي معلومات ينا كو ينا كدان ويك actually dang we could pay can I chuck pay a chapa media pay for a year we can talk 24 hours you know ran ko bi ben kip ran ko bi ben lat you know lanu fina ngade en lu free kalo ru pin lani chini yake pin so message di kan le kuma dugur yo dal de gadan ko go achin bay nan ko go ko rera me ku dunya na loigo period ku dunya na loigo le mana dan au abuna au zol kabir hagana rami chola bi kur acha pingwan fi alfen wide o fi 90 kam kida woto fi mala chupin gal yene jet bi bante ko dan chip ko kurmuk wala bi bante ko ben ma ban kida kule jet pin lagat bile dong jol iba yam mistake na ko bada chupin na ram kene chiren krikir het daman wan bien mbi ku koyen daman wan chiri ma chalu to mor kene grib le ina da koyen chiri jola chamal ina logon ben ku logo tan logo to yerba so my condolence lew we are really very sorry but adeng mit ka nyang pin I guess ko de ka tikolo ka jeret so kadan ko bet we will come and celebrate his name ku buka kan tikolo buka dil ko en way buka ko en agir ka chating wan chi ko de be helena to ran gran kin sura de dom ina very difficult achan be sura ran be chin man wan mon la tu ko la lela bi ko bi wuna be live achan bi wun ben loy quran kana ran kanita kala wun yok wuna ci turu yoko ko ci yit ye tap di de ci taw yit go gobi ya gala fadiya achan bi ban be nyod media karana de yit tap ko cha de yoko gala fadiya lakin rana le binyot you know lan ku jiro loy ku kadan ci loy na ran ci loy so kane na de lwel ku yamba ko tan ku thank you banyabiel na de ko bi jobe ben abu ko jobe be lakin woni ko golle kan beeda achan yen atop yo hot seat ko kin mina wolum bar ko le ken diga kan diga ben ngo acha man ran wulo ngam thank you
Ayin benya coach in too late. You already get 1 hour and 20 minutes, so we can go another 40 minutes if there are people coming. Again, Mashkela with a so-called KitGwang declaration. And that's what our coach said before. Majority of our people in Northern Upper Nile, they don't speak English. And that's sometimes force us to speak in a Dinka or broken Arabic bitana. فأنا ممكن I will try my Arabic بتاعي صغير ده. أنت شفتوا أنتوا ناسنا في region of Upper Nile or Upper Nile State. The so-called what they call it KitGwang declaration. إيه عنده تأثير لنا كناس بتاع Upper Nile. طرق كتير كلام ما هيمشي ما عندنا تنمية عشان الناس ديل التمرد من عمل الجديدة ما برجع يمل بس دي ناس أفرنال أنا ولا ما كل أفرنال لو شفنا إنه رئيس بتاع KitGwang declaration بتاع أيوة جديد هو من الجمهورية أساسا when we talking about 10 state Azol ismu Uloin, if he claimed to be a PG son, then also he's from what? From Jonglei State. The Mabiordol is from Jonglei State. Tani ismu imunu Dwertut, or Menasa. Fajade le Junubin, Nina Kamo, Tonin Buta Afranal, especially Nina Gavel, Bita Dengal, Gaibun Hinagde, Ebna, Mena Nenjaranat Bitana Del, the Trugal Kiti. Woman Yamul Haja, a woman ma Lelu, my Fuker Fu. Kinyaya Bijibudur Nas. Udetriga inu we Kajing Padangasa, we will go back to the idea that the proposal with Amunu, with national dialogue, when they were saying that 32 state is good. I can 32 state bukun kwes. Bidi gabela lahum dairin sulta de kali yamshi shakal nafusum bi walaya bitaman kali yamshi marad fi walaya bitaman والناس التانيين اللي ما دايرين المشاكل يفضل في ولايه بتاعهم. ف 32 state now, since the new Barlaman, it is the time now, people of South Sudan to come up, to push their members of the parliament to go what national dialogue recommend last time, because it was a recommendation from national dialogue. In that case of 32 states will bring peace in Upper Nile. Nuera yemshi fi walayat bitaw, Chuluka yemshi walaya bitaw, Denga yemshi walaya bitaw, wal juzu min Denga lamuma munu, kal bogot fi walaya bitaw. They reduce tension between Upper Nile. People rebel every now and then. Leil and Nar. Nina ma harfin nas hel shagilin bishnu zadu. Juzu minum into nas mabsam azrutan nuer, bugul indum shakala ma Denga. Ata walumbar fi Khartoum. Mara kallam ورajil kallam ala kuma fi junub da ma bishubu ka kuma junub birakamino indum itnen nuap bitares ka wala nuer wa indum nas tanin ma bikush fi rusum fa na zaida ashan yafahamu ke bukun mushkila. They are building hatred that we don't know. وما في دينكا وقال عندنا مشكله مع نوير ما. فانا بشوف التقسيم الجديد مجموعه بتاع ايوه قسم الاثنين ده في تحسير. هنا شفناه وسع. الوالي يوم داك بيقول له هو ولين ده هو ولا هو اقول لك ده هو هزول ده هسه بقى في تقسيم بينه. هو قبل بتاع ابرنال ده هسه بقى مجموعه براو within the شلوك بقى قسم الاثنين نور قسم الاثنين. طيب ده الناس ده بكون في مشكله. ده الناس اللي شارك معه ولايه او بكون في مشكله عشان الناس زي ما عندهم سلام في نفوسهم. فانا بقول للجنوبيين 32 state will solve problem of the Upper Nile. عشان those who are mindset rebellion in Upper Nile, they will never stop until they are left alone to go and rule themselves the way they want. If they claim to be a democracy, then let them go and practice their democracy. KitGwang declaration is really make a lot of division within the Upper Nile State. Now, the governor that we know was appointed from the IO, specifically came from Agwelek ticket. Now, when Uloin and Garwidwal declared themselves to be another IO, governor took side with Riek Machar, who appointed him to become a governor, Governor Budok. Now, if you look, they are dividing even tribe. Shuluk is divided now into two. Some are supporting Governor of Upper Nile, Governor Budok. Some are supporting Garwidwal. Johnson Wuloin. And the same thing to the Nuer within Upper Nile. Some of them are supporting Garwidwal. Some of them are supporting Riek Machar. Some of them are supportive of the so-called Dwertu. For our appeal, we are the son of Upper Nile. 32 state, I think, will be a good model for Upper Nile. because it is a headache. Asa hayarja nas tani fi salam, akuma indu zamana chani gud manat garwi, they bugulinu, they want another, they want a peace, security arrangement to be implemented. How? For Ajad Zeda, it is up to us, we, the Upper Nile people. And I say before, it will not be only Upper Nile. It will affect the KitGwang and KitGwang declaration will pack people in unity state. I can unity state, ya windu riek masha, windu may more support riek, ufi may more minimum support Garwidwal. TGP Jonglei state will be a pack too, because Garwidwal originally from Jonglei state. Azolisu Mulon is from Jonglei state. So their supporter will come from Jonglei state. Are they not going to jeopardize peace in Jonglei? Because if we, the Upper Nile, and later will say, okay, enough is enough. You guys come from Jonglei, take your headquarters of rebellion, take it back to Jonglei, and base it there. Leave the Upper Nile alone to have a peace. That's what they want. For these are the scenario that in KitGwang, we are not against him. But the way they are putting the citizen in a hostage situation, everybody will be fed up with them, because we will say that we don't know what they are doing. If they were people like myself, and I told you one of them last time, you supposed to went in and bought Riek Machar out within Juba. Government will not say anything. You should have to go in. Riek mind bi jeji na ko sajinku. Kulu tamshi utakhali jej butaku mamshi. And then you call the convention within Juba. As long as you went there, it will be easy to take that Machar out. But now you're talking about taking a vice president who is to be a vice president of the country. He's the signatory of the agreement. He's the one being recognized by IGAD, by Troika, by African Union, and the international community. For this thing, people will see, like I say, our neighbors, they always like new thing come up. They will just flow like a water. They will just jump in. Whether water they into the beef, well, now you see every day people are defecting to Garwidwal. It's a new thing. That's what they like. But do they study how this will end? I told them last time, and then exactly the fight took place. Before they declare, we talked about that last month. We say that this is what we see in declaration. If they declare, Machar is not stupid to let his seat just go simply. I said last time, before they even declare, there will be fight. I did say that. I mentioned that. And exactly that what happened when they declared themselves. Machar went and bring his own army, and he tried to push them away. So the problem of us, we South Sudanese, we don't analyze the thing before we take action. What will be advantage and disadvantage? And then the consequence behind this action. We cannot be reactors. We have to be a people who have a plan, an action, and then action with the consequence that had to be analyzed very good. For Anabugul KitGwang declaration is really a big problem in peace. I mean, a big problem or obstacle peace for Upper Nile and South Sudan in general, one way or another. Like now they are just joining this guy very, very much. So what will happen, seeing the Shuluk is divided into two, yani, development within Upper Nile State is not going to be seen by the citizen, because we will have this power struggle within the both camp, Riek Machar, Garwidwal, Maulon, and those things, they will affect the state. And that's why some of us are paperback. This is the time. You, our MP who are representing those areas, you need to revisit the national dialogue recommendation of the 32 states to be back. because 32 states will bring peace in Upper Nile. Upper Nile, we don't know what people are fighting. Some are fighting, they want Dinka regime to be taken out. Some are fighting, they need Nuer nation. This is very clear for those of you who did not hear the Nuer talk. That's the reality. And the two things are going together. To fight with the Dinka, rather to say we are fighting with the government of South Sudan, they're saying they are fighting with the Dinka because of only president is came from Dinka. That's the one thing. Hajede mabishilu bara fi mugnas dil garmacha amul kasil mug ziyada wa dakal dawa kabir wala samam kabir fi rusnas. Ma butala fi rusakwana dil. Nimrainen fi nas bugul inu ashan ikun free dairin dola bita Nuer. Which we talked a couple of last year inu ashan dola bita Nuer to exist. You gotta have a good location and look at the geographical of Upper Nile, how we are divided. There are Nuer in the West Bank with the Dinka, and there are Dinka in the Eastern Bank of Upper Nile with the Nuer, and there are Shilluk in the middle, and there are the Dinka in the middle. Where are you going to set up this state? Unless you clear out Anuak, Dinka, Maban, Shilluk. This is the only you can have a Nuer nation. For these things are there. But to stop those things, the people who have been poisoned, they are not going to stop this for the next 40 years. We who hear the language, but it will take them years to realize that they are not fighting with the Dinka, they are fighting with the system. Because I believe even Salva Kiir go today and bring another person come, whether he's not Dinka, they will still fighting. Because Jamadil, they were not aware of the system in the old Sudan. For 32 states, I think need to be revisited to solve the problem of Upper Nile, where each tribe will have his own rebellion. Let them go and merit. Raga nafusum kam general, yishilu fi walaya bitaw. Darin yukun kam governor, hal yamshi governor themselves. Okay? Darin yamul shunu, yani, this is the only solution in the Upper Nile situation, because the so-called KitGwang declaration is setback of the peace of Upper Nile. We are not going to realize the peace. And we will see there are a lot of activities during the dry season. There will be very more fighting. Either the IO themselves or the government is going to involve if they are not going to listen to the government. And based on what we know, this peace agreement, if they are really people can analyze and see what the development going on in South Sudan, United States is now supporting this peace. IGAD is supporting that peace. They are even flashing the money now for some other development. Are those of Garwidwal are seeing this? The KitGwang declaration? The answer is no. They say this is Kailor. We will fight. Are they really for a security arrangement? No. For this a very serious case, we really need to have a look at the issue of South Sudan. The issue of the South Sudan to get a peace is to have a peace in Upper Nile. And for Upper Nile to have a peace is these tribes who have a culture of rebellion to be left alone, given their own state, give them their own state to rule themselves. Because we tried that one in 1994, the refugees came. And this worked, ya Jama. The camp were mixed with all Sudanese, but the majority were Nuer. The camp isumu Carmela, Berutan isumu Tapara Kaman. That camp was established in 1993, and we went to 93 over there. So the majority, 30 something thousand were Nuer. Shuluk, Wuduk were a couple of 10 to 20,000. Al Shoyedenga Jai Nasir, including myself, we are not even reaching 1,000. We were there. So what happened, they start fight with Wuduk. Very serious fight. The Nuer fight with Wuduk. And then the Wuduk give up and told to the UN police, take us out of this game, let us leave alone. So the Wuduk were taken to where? To Bongo. And then we left with them. And we were not even 1,000. We did not reach 1,000, maybe a couple of 200 to 300. Majority of them were Jesalamr. Then again, they fight us. They chased us out in the camp. Then we told to the UN, Ya Jama, Nazil Mabrahinas, can they take us to Pinyidu? When we went to Pinyidu, we got peace of mind. Al Wuduk Al Mashifil, they got peace in mind. In a couple of months, they say, no, Nina Madenga Mabu Farakuna. We have to be taken to Pinyidu. Nazil Galia, Manya Nazil Jera Ashanku. Gal, no. We have to be taken there. Nazuan Jakala man and Azul, they are the bit Ethiopia, Laki Nazel, Mata Kudu Jambutana, put them 15 miles away from us. But we will still meet in a area where the Tayin was distributed. Another who could Jabu Barao, they rule themselves, they fight themselves every day, but for them to unite, they have to create another war with us. So they came and fight us again in Pinyidu. They can walk for 5 miles away to come and attack us. For the reason I say that when we were separated, the whole tribe of Sudan, the whole Sudan, including Nuba, they say we want to stay with the Dinka. Not Nuba, not the Katora, not Munu. This is not a make-up. Zola Kanfi Pinyidu Barfa Jaisumu Block 12. Including Anyuagde, Nyagal, we will stay with the Dinka. Kulu Gabel. So we were put a minority camp. And where we're left alone, where they can fight 24/7, then they can rule themselves, they can deal with what they want to do. For this should be a thing that now the parliament, the new parliament need to look at it and see the issue of KitGwang is the setback of the peace, and they need to find a way to deal with it. I'm a Kalambita PCC. These are the anti-peace, the so-called People Coalition. They are still talking even today, but we will say let them try their best. Some of them went far, they say, you refugees who need to be brought, because UN nowadays, seen yesterday they are talking, they will support the government of South Sudan to bring the people back from the refugees, those who are willing, so they can be registered for the next year election. But today they are calling Jamadil Matiji. أقول هنا طيب النازل دايرين سلام عند الجنوبيين لا هم دايرين جنوبيين يقعد كدامين في شمال السودان في East Africa ده بكون يو كلامهم دايرينه. Are they going to be on the ground really to fight the government? The answer is no, and that's why they did not succeed last time. You cannot wait a revolution where you are not a part of it. You're just sitting 1,000 miles away. Ata zul bitamano kan gal who the guide bitaw lisum abram de on the Ago 30, he was nowhere to be seen in the street of Juba because the guy is in American embassy. Taib, why are you misleading the South Sudanese? For today topic, for those who come late, it is we are really on the topic very much. Some other topic were announcement. And I believe Comrade Jabril is here. He was listening to us. He's the son of Upper Nile. We want to hear him from his own analysis of the KitGwang declaration. What are the effects that will affect the peace in Upper Nile? So,
let me make some comment. We have a few minutes to go, okay. And then we'll give a follow to Jabril. I also send a link to Brother Uto with Gulek Shuluk.
Okay.
Ben Wilson, I think you have brought up with a very good analysis when it comes to the issue of South Sudan. South Sudan is a country that is was much united, Sinanyanya one, when people start fighting for the liberation of the country. I think it started in 1955 in Torit, and then Nyanya one came, and then SPLA. But I think what went wrong was mostly after during the interim period. During the interim period is when things went wrong, especially among the leaders of SPLM, including earlier I heard from the former SG of the SPLM, Comrade Pagana Mum, talking about the culture of President Kiir as the president of the country. But when Dr. John Garang, before he died, John Garang has a different vision among these leaders. You can see when he actually appointed the caretakers governors of the 10 state. That was the vision of the SPLM that it had. That as long as you are the member of the SPLM, you can contest anywhere in South Sudan. You should not be the sons and daughters of that state to contest in that area. But as long as you are SPLM members, you are the cadres of the SPLM, I think that's what John Graham was trying to tell people of South Sudan, or Sudan, the new Sudan, when he appointed the different leaders in the different states. We in Upper Nile State, we were given Comrade Dr. James Waniga, as the governor of the Upper Nile State. I think that the Lamakol was taken to Western Barakazal, or is it the Western Equatoria, and then Dr. Riek was taken, I think, somewhere in Western Barakazal. I think that was the vision that the leader was trying to inject into our people. That SPLM mean changes, and the changes cannot come from the son of that area. But when Dr. John Garang died, I think President Kiir did not follow the same footsteps that Dr. John Garang was trying to say it, by bringing those people closer to him, into the central government, bringing Dr. Machar as the vice president of the SPLM, and also the vice president of the government of Southern Sudan. And all these people, he brought them to the center, to the central government. And I think that was the mistake of the leadership of the SPLM, including the SG. And we have seen the influx within the SPLM party. People of the National Congress Party were leaving, breaking away in numbers. I think every week it became a norm in South Sudan. They continue to be given a platform that they broke away from the National Congress Party, and they were welcomed by the SPLM. That was a big mistake that was done by the leader then. I think there should have been a process of you to become a member of that party. When you break away from your party, you should also go to back to the line. But I think Karon Pagana Mum as SG that time did not do well in managing the affairs of the party, because the SG was the third most important person within SPLM. So you cannot only blame President Kiir of failing the SPLM as the chairman of the party, as the president of the republic, as the SPLM-led government, but that was a collective failure of the leaders of the SPLM. You can see these leaders in Juba sitting around, maybe in evening hours, talking about, what the government, especially before the referendum. I mean, before the signing of the CPA. If you happen to be in Nairobi by that time, people will say, okay, if you had our country by that time, we'll do this and do that and do that. That was the vision that they had. But what happened when Dr. John Garang died? In case of working for the person that they have nominated to take that seat, so that the success of the President Kiir could have been a success for all of them as SPLM members. But each of them was trying to say that I want to be the leader. I want to be the person that actually changing, changing President Kiir. That President Kiir, now you have taken us to the promised land, and therefore it's time for you to sit down. The revolution is not like that. If you go to the history of revolution, there's no revolution that come to the power as well as the revolution that signed the peace with the Khartoum government, as well as the revolution that brought that country to independence. You cannot tell the leader of the revolution to step aside before they actually fulfill the promise in which they took up arms for. But each one of these leaders were working actually to see the pressure of the leaders, forgetting that if President Kiir failed, they have also failed. If President Kiir succeed as SPLM leaders, they also succeed. And that what being the demise of these leaders. Because Bagana Mum want to be the president, Dr. Machar want to be the president, and most of those senior leaders, they want to be the president that will actually come after President Kiir decided not to run, or to be actually voted out during the convention. And that's why they were working so hard. They were working so hard to make sure that President Kiir's agenda cannot succeed. President Kiir can be seen as a weak leader, and then they alone can be seen as leader that can actually take the torch and move the country forward to the development. I think that's where people went wrong. And that's what continues today. In each faction, that whether he is Soma now break away into two Soma. SOA is a collection of so many parties. KitGwang, it came out from the SLM IO. Instead of working within your party to make sure that you actually solve the issue that you do not agree, you think that having a separate body can be a mean of bringing that change to the country. And I believe now that the people of South Sudan have seen that. Now the members are talking within, criticizing the leaders. The members of that tribe, you have seen the PCCA is leading by the Dinkas, trying to say that President Kiir, it's time for him to go. The people with SPLM, IO, the KitGwang, most of them are trying to say that Dr. Machar is also failed, and also the other leaders. As long as we continue to speak against the leaders that we've seen as an obstacle to the development of the country, whether within the SPLM IO, whether within SPLM IG, whether within this government, I think the only way we could change this government, the only way that we can bring change in the South Sudan is through the democratic process. When you go to the poll and vote these leaders out, not when you pick up the arm and try to fight your colleague, try to fight the members of the same tribe, try to fight, pick up arm as a mean. And this is what I say earlier, even before that, I say the members of the PCCA will be seen as a couple of dinkas to come, to change President Kiir. And this is what was actually, that was a talk on the social media, that because most of them, they are, leaders by the dinkas themselves, now they are being seen as as agenda of the government that want only President Kiir to be changed by the dinka. But they don't want to see that these leaders also, they want to see the change coming. But I differ with them in the way that they want to bring change to the people of South Sudan. Popular uprising is not the mean of bringing change. The only way that we can change this government, whether SPLM IO, or whether this huge government that we all do not want, the government that have 5 vice presidents, the government that has 550 members of parliament, the only way that we could vote them out is to wait for that election to come. If they wait for that election to come, I think President Kiir, Dr. Machar, they will think twice that the power of the people is the only way that they can listen to. Because people of South Sudan will have a voice to say that, hey, your time is enough. We need a new faces. Today, SG, the former SG of the SPLM, said that they want all of them to sit aside. whether from this old generation, including himself, that they won't sit aside and give the floor to the youngest generation. I think this is what the language that, if that is done peacefully through dialogue, why not? They sit aside because they actually contributed into bringing that nation to be a South Sudan, a country that is, but we need it to be done through dialogue, not through war. I disagree with the KitGwang declaration because they want to take people back to war. I disagree with the armed opposition because they want to continue to wage a war against the people of South Sudan. What I can agree is that when the time comes, even here, we people here will talk about the shortcoming of the SPLM when it comes to the issue of development. Why we don't have services, why we don't have roads, why we don't have good hospitals. These are the issues that need to be addressed when it comes. Yes, the country is there, but the country is not enough alone without the service of the people of South Sudan. And I say earlier, I think next year what we will be talking about is about these members of parliament, it's about these ministers in the government of South Sudan that continue to have the families in neighboring countries, wasting the resources of the people of South Sudan, sending them, this alone can contribute to the growth of the development of the country. Because many of us here send money to South Sudan or even to neighboring countries. Because we're not able to have our families in South Sudan when these members of parliament, when these people working in the government continue to have the families in the neighboring countries. And I say earlier that where your heart is where your family is where your heart belongs to. President Key need to sit down and say that Ajamana, enough of me having my families in neighboring countries. Any ministers, whether in a state level, whether a country commissioner, whether as long as working for the government or even the NGOs, if you're not willing to bring your family to South Sudan, they should not also work in that government because they want to see change coming through development. You can only give services where your family is. And that's why they are not able to bring services. They're not able to bring good school because their families are going to better school in Kenya, in Uganda, in Tanzania, even here in the West. Maybe only that the people that can have the families abroad are mostly ambassadors because ambassadors always come with their families. But if you are the minister within the government of South Sudan, I don't think there's a need for you to have your families in the neighboring countries. Why? What is the issue? The issue because you are fearing that your family will not have they don't have electricity, they will not have a good drinking water. I think that's the reason why you're having your family.
Including MPs,
yeah, they all have the families abroad. And if we are not able to do that, I don't think we'll see the change coming. And that's why we question all of those who are saying that they need a popular uprising. You cannot be the leaders here in diaspora, here in the West. You want to contest as the president of the country, South Sudan, while you're not even able to go to the country. You should be in the ground. You should lead by example. Anyone that want to be the president of that country need to lead by example. Dr. Garang, when he was in the bush, he only come abroad when there's a mission that is going to. When there's a mission, he will be able to travel. But when there's no mission, you will see him carrying his gun, waging a war against the presses, against the government of Sudan. The same thing President Salva Kiir. They only have the families, I think, in the neighboring countries in 1990, I think in 1994, 1990, late 90s or early 90s, when the families start coming to Kenya. When refugee was in Kenya, then they also brought the families to refugee camp. But it was a mistake for the leaders of uprising, for those social medias that have seen in the list of the government to continue to say that we need to change this government while they're enjoying the life here. They want people to lead. And I agree with Michael McQuay saying that those people that they want you to go to the street, they want you to die so that they can come and lead you. They want to come and lead these people. Even they will not be able to give the chance to the people in the ground that can take this initiative of contesting, going to the street against the government. But that's not the option that we need. I think that's the reason why it failed. And I don't think South Sudan is ready for public uprising. We are not in Arab countries. We are not, there's no Arab thing that is coming to South Sudan or Khartoum uprising that actually happened in Khartoum. Of course, when it started, they did not start it because they won't change the government. But the change of the government came while they were in the street. That's when the language of changing the government came. But our people here started that they won't change the government. They won't topple the government. They're asking President Key to step down. They're asking Dr. Machar to step down. You cannot ask a revolution leader to step down, at least ask for services, ask for water, ask for good security, ask for better hospital. These are the services that you needed in South Sudan. And if the government failed not to provide them, then the language will change that as long as we are not getting these services, we're not going to leave the city of Juba, Malakal, Wau, Norit, Bor, and the other state capital that they were planning to actually to go to the street. I think I've talked enough. Brother Jibril or Coach, maybe you can add something. I think Jibril is, I don't know whether he's around or not.
Yeah,
but
he's
this is what I just want to say. And the issue of Malut was an announcement. The issue of the death of the General Elijah Bianikur was also an announcement. But these two topics are the one that we should discuss. We were discussing. And the only way that we can have an Upper Nile State, you say that Padang Hali had a reservation. Now, the governor of Upper Nile State is in Juba. It's not even in Malakal, even after the declaration of KitGwang. I don't know how you're going to be leading that state when you're in Juba. I think there should be a need for him to go back to the Upper Nile State because he's siding with Dr. Machar in that position. And he has been in Juba for all this time. We need you to also talk about the security issue in the state. But I think the deputy governor is doing a great job storing all this, talking about the peace and stability. And that's what we want to say here in the people of Upper Nile State, that the impact of the KitGwang Declaration, if it involves the war, of course, our people will be impacted by this group, and the war will be mostly waged in Upper Nile State or Greater Upper Nile. And I just want people to understand that that's why we have grievances against that declaration. The peace was much better, even though what left now is the security arrangement to be implemented. The graduation of the forces that were trained, I think that was what left after the sworn-in of these members of parliament. I thank you all, and I'll stop from here, and we can give floor to Brother Jibril to add something on top of our discussion here. But if there's a issue of territory state, of course, Padang position continue to state that we need the territory state because that will bring also stability in Upper Nile State, the way it was when we're having territory state. The issue of the Nuer nation, I've been following them online. They're talking about having a nation. I think it's a long way to go. Of course, everybody has a right to demand what they want. With Young Padang, we are not going to say you cannot have a nation, but respects, we can still live as the neighbors, and that's why the territory state was the reason of objecting territory state if you are continuing to ask for your nation or to have a new nation. That is the same thing, because the state were actually divided based on the ethnic line, especially mostly maybe northern Upper Nile that continue to have people of Maban and people of this county, Malut, Maban, and Rang as a state, but mostly it was divided based on the ethnic line. And if it's not territory state, also the 9 districts of all colonial districts that also have a clear demarcation that was known by all of us. So thank you, Ben Wilson Wall and Akoch. I'll stop from here. We came to 2 hours, and Jabril is there. Please open your video so that we can give you a chance at least to add something. And you call it time. I will unmute you. Yeah, Jibril, you can talk.
Okay. At first, I just want to say thank you for Padang Media for inviting me, one of the critics that all the time challenge you guys for almost 8 years. We might have difference in some areas, and we have a common grounds whereby interests of South Sudan, we can have some issues. We can come together when the interest is met. You see, there is a great danger going on right now. The people collusion for civil action is a very, very serious matter that South Sudan government has to take it seriously. And you also have the issue of KitGwang. The issue of KitGwang also very, very dangerous. And and this tells the government of South Sudan that you need to do a genuine peace. You need to implement the RCS, because the moment we implement the RCS, all these guys will not be allowed to do this. But the moment President Kiir and his cronies, they keep dragging the feet not to implement the full package of the peace, then you will have these things, and all of us will be thrown out. You see, these guys, the people collusion for civil action, they are using this terminology that the boat has to go. They're using the boat is simple language. I mean, President Kiir and by President Dr. Mashar, they all have to go. Okay, and they also use a very, very strong word, that is, they have to drain the swamp. They have to drain the swamp. That means all the system in South Sudan, they have to change it. But that's not what we in IO expected. We only ask for transformation of the government. We need to transform government, but not to take the whole out. Yes, indeed, some of these guys are coming through a liberational struggle. And if you would have an issue of Robert Mugabe and Grace Mugabe, whereby Liberational Council, they said, Mr. Comrade Robert Mugabe, you have to leave the power. And if that scenario is applied in President Kiir, at the moment it will not work, okay? Because we have a peace that needs to be implemented. And here you have a bunch of people, mainly social media people. They have made up their mind, and they said that they are going to do what we call uprising. And that uprising is short-lived, by the way. It's already dead, because the government of South Sudan has stepped up very seriously, and we are partner in peace. We cannot leave this thing to go without criticism, because it's not the interest of our people. Our people is not ready for popular uprising. They're not ready, and we also have a very tribal, heavy tribal situation at the moment, whereby if you do these things, you're also going to lose a lot of people in the process. So that's why we rejected the so-called people collusion for civil action. It is not the time for South Sudanese to go to that direction, because it's so risky. Many people will die in the process, and the South Sudan at the moment is not even connected in the 10 state-wise. It is very hard for them to have rallies across South Sudan, given the South Sudan at the moment. Security-wise, they will not have this chance. So we are saying no to popular uprising, and we will not stand with this. We criticize it heavily, and we are standing with the government in Juba that peace must be implemented, because peace is the priority of our people. Look, for a period of 8 years, you didn't see major fight in South Sudan. That means we are saving generations. Okay. The current situation in South Sudan is it doesn't require a gun barrel anymore. We need a dialogue. We need debate. We need to talk, because if we try to fight, it's not like 2013. This time around is different. I think the both partner in peace, they understand that we cannot go back to that direction. I don't know about the government supporters. Your stand is you supporting the people inclusion for stable action. We haven't seen Lake State media is standing with these guys. They're inviting them. They saw, and they allow them to talk. Okay, I know it's a pre-war we can talk, but they embrace the idea. Okay, without knowing. So look, yeah, another comrade Abil Kon, you said something. First, I forgot something. Ana asibly Nasif passing of my Nasif Bitana or Elijah Biech, one of the people who struggle. I should have said this before I start. I'm sorry. المشكلة وين يا المشكلة بتاعنا وين؟ مشكلة وين؟ لأنه الناس ديل مجرمين ديل ناس العاملين جوته بتاعت إنه الناس يعملوا uprising ده. Uprising is a very good way to do it, but you cannot do it while you're here, because you are not a rebel. You're just a simple person. Go there, ask for your right, because in the constitutional right, you have a right to demonstrate. And if you do it here in the Western world, who is going to stand with you anyways? But you don't have to risk people's life, because this Juba is very serious. And that is not a place where you can go and demonstrate. So I don't really think this is a good idea. But in the long run, yes, South Sudanese are not happy with the government. We understand the South Sudanese around the world are not happy with the government. And when the time comes, they will change the government, because services are not being delivered to the people. Security are not available to people. And this is why we are saying the government of the national unit should imply all the powers to implement the peace. When you have a unified police, a unified army, you will at least impress the South Sudanese to listen to you. But if these things are not being done, we are not going nowhere. Anyway, أنا كلام بتاع إنه 32 ولاية ده, it is the gone case. It died long time ago. We shouldn't be talking about it now. لأنه that is one of the ideas the SPLM-IO stood strong with it, and that idea died long time ago. I don't know why it's relevant today with you guys, because we are not at 38 or 20 or 28 states. No, not anymore. That thing is in the past. We are now at the 10 states. So when you talk based on the 10 states. We don't want to hear anything like this is controversial. Okay? Why are you saying there is no tribe who can create a country in Upper Nile? This is from today and 100 years to come. You, Wilson, you will not be able to create a country that only consists of Rang, Malud, and the rest. You will not do it, because it's not making sense. And same thing to me, I will not do that, because there's no ground for that. And you saying here the Noor Nation. No, there is nothing like that is going to happen. Logic wise, it doesn't sound. So please don't confuse people with this kind of rhetoric. That don't make sense. Okay? But anyway, أنا ممكن كلام ده خطير. لكن all of us, we have a unity that comes out of people collusion for civil action and KitGwang. So all of us, we are in the one boat. Okay? But we have to implement the peace. And you, the government supporters, talk to your government that The only way out, these people are real. They are real. And most of them are Midimwanje. Most of the CP people Kulusum possible action, Midimwanje ben. But that bukun mishkil kir like KitGwang mishkil Dr. Machar. Okay? But even Kir, if Kir don't implement this peace agreement in the letter and the spirit, we have a problem. Okay? So these people are not playing. They have a heavy vocabulary. They are using heavy vocabularies. They are also attracting a lot of people. Okay? Even though they're not making sense, they have a people supporting them. You see? And then if they are allowed to do like this, they will sabotage people in Juba and across South Sudan. And this is going to be a dangerous thing. And when they demonstrate in Juba, make sure that they will take the government out. But we have to implement the peace. Because with peace, we have a unified police, we have a unified army, and the government will be stronger, okay, to lay some charges toward these people. But at the meantime, the government is surviving because right now the KitGwang is saying that they have a new leadership now, but this is the work of government. Some people in the government, they are the one who doing this too. They are colliding with KitGwang, and people who lose some possible action is also work of inside the government. In other way around, some want to take Machar out, and Jalduang too. They have to go. That's not what they're saying here. But anyway, my brothers, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry for passing away of Elijah Bech, whom I know personally. But to conclude, my brothers, I think we, the supporters of the regime, or we who happen
don't conclude yet. I am coming. I have some question for you.
Okay.
So hold your conclusion.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for your comments. Like you said before, your comments, there are something that we can agree and disagree. It appears now that we agree the way the so-called PPCA and the KitGwang, we both agree that this is not the right time. So I think we agree on that point. The issue to do with 32 state, you know why we bring it up. We are not asking about the country. We are asking about the state. Like what you see in Upper Nile now, we don't know what, I don't know. I think you know the Dinka language better than Nuer. So you may have a little bit of understand what they are talking on their own show. But we who speak the Nuer language, we know what we are talking about. So 32 state will come back whether we like it or not. Through national dialogue, recommend 32 state, recommend President Kiir and Riek Machar, they have to be out of the leadership, and the rest, not only 32, more than 32 states. Like one of your area, I think he's from Maban, he's calling me Big Mouth, that Maban need to have a state. Nobody refused. Maban can have a state because we know some part of South Sudan, one county were given a state. So why not Maban if they can rule themselves? So the issue we're talking like that is the issue of out of frustration, the way we are seeing our neighbors, rebellion after rebellion, rebellion after rebellion. We don't know whom they are fighting for and what they want. That's why we say 32 will be better. Now, question to me. We heard that there is a KitGwang declaration. Are you supporting the KitGwang declaration that lead by Garwidwal and Johnson Wuloy, or are you still with Gadmasha Kim? If you are in Gadmasha Kim, can you tell us more about what is going on? Because there was been fighting for the last 3 weeks. Oh, Masagna de, oh, Amalna de, Amalna de. So we were looking for both side supporters. One of Agwele come last time in our show, I think last week. But I want to know, where are you now? Are you with KitGwang or are you with Riek Machar? If you are with Riek Machar, can you tell us about more what lead into the disagreement with bring KitGwang in. So these are my questions. You can go ahead.
Well, to answer you very simply, I'm still with the main opposition. What happened in KitGwang was the KitGwang people, they frustrated. They are seeing, they have a very genuine point. They are saying that the peace implementation of peace agreement is not working, and they are being left out for a big margin. And Dr. Mashar, according to their position, paper position, they are saying that Dr. Mashar have abandoned them. They're saying that the Tigawani is not working to interest of peace. So they are asking a genuine peace. They are not saying that they are waging war toward the government. They are asking the government to actually implement the real peace that is in the book. Okay, they didn't fire any gun yet. There was some disagreement within the unit, and yes, it went to killing, but then the situation now in control. I think the KitGwang Declaration Command System, they structured their own command system, and they are in control of this. But all they're asking, they want to renegotiate the RCs. They want to renegotiate the RCs. They want to see all the protocols of the RCs to be implemented. That's what they're saying. Another thing you asked me, that 32 states. You see, we don't need 32 states, Wilson. We don't. South Sudan is about 10 to 16 million, and we don't need all these big government or like that. No, we don't. All you need in the picture. That's all Mabanis are saying. It's not me. They are saying if you want to have a northern Upper Nile state, then we need to go back to the old districts. Okay, the old districts, the northern Upper Nile state comes until Padang. Okay, that is northern Upper Nile state. So here you will have some part of Nuer Gajak within
No, that is
yes,
not true.
it is true. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
You will have the Lumashuk people, you have the Maiwut people included in the northern Upper Nile state. That is the issue. If we are saying that we have to advocate for a northern Upper Nile state, then you and me, we should have agreement. Okay, all the Mabanis and our brothers, the Dinka, Padang, the Ager, the Nyel, the Abilang, all of us, we should have a common ground whereby we agree. Remember, you, Wilson, you are a government supporter. What happened in 32 states was a very big mistake from our people. They have dominated the state in terms of, they didn't give chance to Mabanis, like 3 consecutive governors were taken by them. That is not good for the future reference. If you want to advocate for a northern Upper Nile to be a state, you need us, and we need you, okay? Because you cannot draw the map of northern Upper Nile without us. Look, the British, when they were there, they're the one who did this. And instead of them creating Mabanda alone, no, they didn't do that. They عملوا Mabanda نقطة بس صغير. لكن الراس بتاعت disregard وين في الرنج. ده ما انتوا عملتوا ولا نحن عملنا. ده البريطانيين عملوا. In the last way, in the same way, if we want to do it in the future, we should talk to each other. We should respect ourselves. Okay? But what happened in 32 states was a very big mistake from our people, both in Malut and Umambiga Garman Sulta. They become a power-hungry people, and they don't want Mabanis to share the cake with them. And they even went further. They even went further to draw a map that is even not exist. We and Dinkas, we never had anything to do with fight. I can tell to you, I can say this frankly, we didn't have anything to do with fight. Until the 32 states, the power-hungry people, they came to the power. They want to change the demographic that was living peacefully without even a fight. Okay? They created this. Now the tension was so high, but thank God our people were very smart. In northern Upper Nile State, they said, no, we cannot do this. There are a better way we can settle this problem without bloodshed. They did it. But you and others, you were supporting fighting. And fighting never good for anybody, I will say. Fighting never good for anybody. Fighting means somebody going to die. And the person who dies is a South Sudanese, whether you like it or not.
Can I stop you? You see,
Wilson, I have a question.
Yeah, hold on. You sometimes go out of topic. We are not talking about fighting here. If there are fighting, last year we were talking about we being attacked twice. Attack number one was January in Bayajak in Malut County. Number 8 was attack on Akoka County in February. So we were talking about that. We were not preaching war. We were saying that why people attack us. So by that time you were a member of IO, but you are dodging my question now. You say you are still with the main IO. And you try to deny there were no fighting, but there is a serious fighting 2 times where they capture some of their little territory. So I was asking you, can you tell us more why about this fighting? Now you are kind of, Jamadel in Dumrai. So are you telling me that they are still IO or they become a different party now? The KitGwang?
No, they are not. They are no longer. They are no longer with the IO. They are no longer with IO. They have created their chairman. They have created their own command system. They are no longer with IO. The IO that we are talking about, it is the IO that went Juba with the intention of implementing the peace.
So
and
why your leader waged the war against them? They say that it is Machar who mobilized forces and attacked the KitGwang. That is true or not?
Well, that is not accurate. Okay, that is not accurate. That is maybe their own propaganda side of things, I think. But in actual reality, the government of South Sudan is actually negotiating with them. It is not Machar as such. Today we are talking about government of South Sudan. Machar being a vice president of South Sudan. So that issue you include the government of South Sudan, and they are trying to find a way that to bring these people on the table so that there is no more talk of fighting, because South Sudanese are not ready for fight. Okay.
All right. One more thing to answer what you were trying to mess up the story of what they call former district British colonials. The district are very clear. I don't know where you bring me.
Wilson, give me a chance, please.
Yeah, let me respond. I will give you this. So, to be clear, there were 2 Dinka sections were mixed with other groups, or 3. One is Arang, Malut, Maban, who were mixed with one tribe. That was the district. Baliet was the district pure with the Dinka, Koka, and Ngonglualia. And then PG, not the Korflus, they were Pangak district. Shuluk having Pashuda district. And then Nuerbita Eastern Jekaindekulu was Nasir district, all together, including from Nasir all the way to Maiwut to Pangak. So that's what I want to correct. It is there, it's in the British written things. It's not a make-up. So I agree with you some point. If there are people who want to have a state, it is we, you, the Maban, and people of Malut and Rang. We are not denying that. We were very, from the British time up to now. I can agree with you, the other point of 32 states when the governors were coming. That's what we were telling to those people, but we disagree with them. Like you say, the power angry people, always they don't know their brother when they're looking for power. They can. So we told them the next should come from Maban. If Malut become a governor, person from Malut become a governor, then person of Arang become a governor, then the other time should be given to Maban people to become a governor. That I think what been told, people were talking about that. But these were outsiders like us who don't have a the power to put people. So that we can agree on that point. But in case of the future, if people are going back to 32, of course, we have to have a power, the rotation of the governors. So there is no another. Accord, you can go ahead. I will give you the.
Yeah, thank you, Wilson. I really don't have a very a very strong question to Jibril, because I know him is you can tell him something and he can bring something else. You know what I want to tell Jibril. When Jibril, when you marry, you have a kid. If you are in South Sudan, in a Ban village, and your kid grown up, and if your son want to marry, he will go and create his own house. You cannot say, no, this is our culture. Your son can go and create his own family with his wife. So your daughter will go away and marry somebody else. So why you guys are denying for her to stretch a little bit and go back? Even Maban, it's not a Maban like long time ago. One woman of Maban now has 10 children. Before, it never happened. This is a blessing. Even me, I want to get out from Malut. I want to come in Adar area and Toinam and Koradar and have my own, county there. So why you guys are denying? And you, Maban with the Nuer, why you are refusing guys to go and have your own plate and manage your affair? Why? And if it is about oil, Maban has the oil, I am sure. Maban has the gold. The same to Nuer, oil is everywhere. Why you stuck in our neck? And at the same time you say Dinka is problem. Why don't you go away from my neck? People, what happened to you guys? That is all. Go and create your own. Thank you. Why are you stuck in my neck?
You cannot rule the same. That is the problem. That's the
coach. Asma, I'm really happy with what you're saying, but you are saying it wrongly. But anyway, then Dola in the USS, Dola between Sudan, in the USS lawyer. If we allow people to create administrative like that, ده بخلي الدولة ما بكون قوي. كل زول بيكون مجنون بيقول أنا داير أعمل دولة في بارغزال، أنا داير أعمل دولة، أنا داير أعمل state. That is why population needs to be controlled. In order for a country to have to become a country, there must be a census. Population that come as an zone يكون country. Okay. Also, to be a state, you need to have a population. You can just come with 3 counties and state. It will not work that way. The government of South Sudan knows they have the population. Okay, in the offices, but we are not saying that you don't have to go run away from us. We are South Sudanese. If there is a problem of security, we can address it with a strong government. Okay. Nasna man dukun sowa, hena bikun pi Nuer, hena bikun pi Dinka, hena bikun pi Maban. Ideas wise bikun beautiful. We can have a beautiful state. Okay? Like now you living in Canada. How many ethnics in Canada? A lot of people. See how beautiful it is? It is just the administrative failure that made you think that, oh, I'm running away from Jibril because they are going to kill me. Nobody will kill you in the future. The government will be fixed. Okay? That's why we need, and you're saying about me being, Anataban, our border, I'm bordered with Noor. I'm not bordered with you guys. My area is almost bordered with Noor. And remember, you said about Maban having oil. Do you know Gulguk? Gulguk is not actually a Noor land. Gulguk, that name is a fake name. In Maban, we call it Ban Maofin. Ban Maofin, that's the Mabanese name. They call it Ban Maofin.
Hey, do you know the word Gulguk is a Jing name or a Nuer name?
No, it has nothing to do with Dinka. It has nothing to do with Nuer. Yeah.
Gulguk is a Dinka name.
No. But that name, we don't value it. We call it Ban Maofin. That is the name Maban is using. But the Nuer comes in. Yeah. So that land is not belong to Nuer, by the way. And again, if you go to the place that you are disputing, Kil Ashra, Kil Ishrin, these places are purely Mabanese place. You know it. But that is why our people are so skeptical. They said, why our neighbors are taking our land? In the side of Noor, they are taking our land. In the side of you Dinkas, you're taking our land. What can we do? Okay? You're taking our land, both sides. And we are not that like a violent community that can take the, but we will learn, we are learning. Because when your neighbor is taking your land, you know, land is very expensive. And people can die, okay? That's why we are saying people like Wilson, like a coach, we don't need to take others' land, okay? If you want to draw a map of Northern Upper Nile, I believe you will include some part of Maban as well.
Thank you. We will give chance to Brother Biel. I don't think we are taking nobody land. So we are very clear, you know, to that is because the people who are there, they were came after we were there. Nuer come 1800 from the West Bank. So they found Dinka there. And when Anua come, they found us there. They went all the way to Cuba.
No.
Listen.
That history is fake history. One day I will lecture you about the history.
Okay, yeah. When you guys come from Puny, from Lindegassen, you found us there. So we are the original of the place. Yeah.
Those Jing Water, Eloligan Asma, Jing Water, the Ulin Belladanina Garden Pan Punch. You go to the lyrics to the Dinka, you will find it.
Yangagan. Yes, that was 16 or 1700. I think I Panapunya really.
Okay.
Go ahead, Benjamin.
Jibril, thank you for coming. This is why we need to dialogue. I believe that the issue of South Sudan is a collective issues that we need to address. And I agree with you when you guys came out and denounced what they call the people coalition action for change, what they call PCCA. And not because the government supporters are actually supporting this. No, I don't think even the people of Lagos State are supporting this group. But they wanted to be known by people of South Sudan while they want to wage an popular uprising, especially in this time. And we differ the way they categorize it, because when they came out and said that they want this government to go, that they demand the resignation of these two figures, President Kiir and Dr. Machar. And the objective is actually to topple the government. It does not longer merit the peaceful demonstration, because they were not going to demonstrate against the lack of services in South Sudan. Of course, that should be the objective of uprising or the people of demonstration. As you say earlier, that is accepted in the Constitution of South Sudan. If you demand services like what happened in Malut when they went to the street and demanded that they need services, they were not demonstrating to topple the government of President Kiir. But these people, they have their own objective. The objective to change this government through popular uprising, and that's why we differ. We say, Jaman, this time of change is not.
We want to see who is
we don't need it. We need people of South Sudan to implement this peace agreement. We need the government of President Kiir to implement security arrangement, so that when it comes to the time of election, people of South Sudan go to the poll and decide who they want.
Don't do that.
And I think that's why you and I and other people agree on how we want this government to be changed. But the PCCA, I think they have a backing of the foreign entity. But what I like most about them is that it's not the figures within the Dinka community are talking about President Kiir that is no longer legitimate lead that country, and they want him to go. When we talk about the leadership of the country, it doesn't have to be the people of that tribe that are matter. But who is in the government that they say that they wanted to go? That's for them led government that they say that it's failed. Of course, if you say that the government has failed, you are entitled to that opinion. But how you want it to be changed is only through the ballot vote. And that's why you are here. I think you say the same thing as well. And that's why, and I say earlier that people of South Sudan will say that now you are pointing finger to the government, that this is work of the JCE, this is work of the government of President Kiir, that they want to change President Kiir with another Dinka, and that's why they want, because the many figures that are leading these PCCAs are mostly the Dinka, and you can see how they actually, form the government online. They put Abraham Awlej as the man that want to be the president, and led by another person, including those of social media activists. They are part. I don't know whether that is right or no, but this is how we see it. But that was a mistake for them. We are in disagreement that the government is very huge in South Sudan. So South Sudan is a small country that has 11 or 12 million people. But because of the peace agreement, Jabril, we have now 5 vice presidents. We have 500 members of parliament. But is it right? Of course, it's not right. But did it bring peace? Yes, it brought peace. Is it a good peace? Of course, it's not 100% perfect. But it's better than continuation of the war. If people differ, we cannot continue to use the mean of rebellion to change the government, or armed rebellion to be the way that it should be had in South Sudan. And President Kiir, the reason why I disagree with him, when he took over the power, he negotiated what they call South dialogue. When he brought in Matip and all the militias incorporating within the SPLM. SPLM, we have seen the members of the National Congress Party defecting from their party, and they were accepted. That was the work of President Kiir, including SG, the Paganamum. It was a mistake for them, because we cannot just people that does not know the ideology of the party, the ideology of the SPLM, why SPLM went to war, but they accept them and they continue to be the leading figures within the SPLM, and that's what brought this issue that we have today in South Sudan. And that's why you see those surrounding President Kiir are those who came from Khartoum. They were not groomed, or they were not actually, told about the ideology of the movement, why the movement went to war, why people continue to fight. They were fighting against the same party that was fighting. But as long as you become a nation, of course, you can be a member of SPLM, but have to go to the back of the line, you see. But our leaders, they fail to say that they want President Kiir only to be seen as the failing figures. But they forget that if President Kiir failed, they all fail as members of SPLM. The future does not come because they were leading, they were members, they were ministers, they were figures within the SPLM. And I heard Pagaramum talking earlier that President Kiir has failed to implement the vision of the SPLM. But when they came to power, you remember when Dr. Garang appointed those figures into different states. That was the vision that SPLM have. That you, Jibril, can contest in my area as long as you are the cadres of SPLM. They can vote for you in that ticket. You don't have to be a Jiang from Bali or from Malakal or from Manut to contest. But as long as you are member of the SPLM, you have a right to contest anywhere in South Sudan. And I think that was the vision that the late Dr. General has when he's appointed these categories governors, taking them to different states. We have given Dr. Wane, those of Lemakol were taken, Western Bargazal or Western Equatoria, and that was the vision that they had. But what happened after he died? Of course, SLM continued to have that issue that brought people to war. But how can we solve this war? We will solve this war when people go to vote and say that, Jamana, your time is enough. You messed this country up. I think it's time for you to go. But even the leaders, even this armed opposition, they cannot even agree in one unifying party that they can bring someone that can contest on their ticket. They continue to divide themselves. Some have separated themselves. Asylum Ayo, now you have seen KitGwang Liberation, and Sawa also has a faction within, that Lama is working alone and the other people are working separately. This is the issue that we have in South Sudan, and we need to solve it through a democratic process. So thank you for coming and hearing this issue that we had in South Sudan. Of course, when we say we need territory state actually is not that bad. Even people see it as a bad, I don't think it's bad. Because it can bring security to the people of South Sudan, especially in Upper Nile State. Or even if you go to the old 9 districts that have a clear demarcation that was known. For example, we have Sobat, we have Kodok, we have Rang, we have Nasser, we have Pangak, and also another part there was Bibor and Bor, Greater Upper Nile, half a 9, all district, we have Unity State, which is Bentiu by that time. The people of Sudan, South Sudan decided to offer that all the state. I don't think it will cause an issue, but that's what we've seen as the only way of resolving what we have, a pandemic, chronic, war within Upper Nile State. Because Upper Nile State now became inverted into the culture of war, culture of rebellion. If you do not rebel, you cannot be heard. And that's why I say President Kiir is not strong enough. His policy of appeasement, you pick up an arm today, you include people from your own counties or from your own tribe, tomorrow you'll come and sit down with President Kiir and negotiate another peace instead of holding you accountable. And that's what people of KitGwang, I think, want to do. They won't separate from Asylum Ayo, Dr. Machar. They want to come and negotiate another peace with the government, and they will be rewarded with the position that they want. If they're asking for the implementation of peace agreement, why did they break away? They could have waited until the security forces actually the arrangement is implemented, and then can see what differences would it make. So we have been here for so long. Thank you for all the viewers. I'm not going to talk that much, but this is what I just want to add in terms of political issues that we have in South Sudan. KitGwang is a threat, and also the most threat now is what they call PCCA. It failed, but it's still in the ground. It's still there. Let us continue.
Brother Abiel, the people collusion for civil action is so dangerous, and they have a ground. You see, but they also don't have organization that is in place. The list that you saw being circulated in the media, that is not true. I think there is no credibility in that. They didn't do that. But let's say like this: if today the election happened in South Sudan, and then somehow the civilian feel that the election is being rigged, and then it develops into a uprising, then there's a possibility that the government will be overthrown. From now on, if the government is not ready for all these measures, there will be a problem in the future. If today election is happening and civilian vote for whoever they want in the leadership, and then the SPLM leadership in both camps manipulated the system or rigged the election, it will lead to a massive demonstration across South Sudan, and that should be the strategy of those of people collusion for civil action in the future, because we don't want anything to do with the gun anymore. Trust me, from 1955 to 2005, we lost many generations in this gap, and also 2013 was unexpected. South Sudanese didn't expect the world will happen like that, and now we have a peace in our hand. Hey, look, this peace. Many people criticize in the social media. It's not a good peace. It's better than nothing. It's better than war. Okay, and all of us, we should stand and support this peace by all accounts, because this peace, it gives room to debate. It give room to protest. Like right now in Juba, because of the peace, that's why they are demonstrating in Juba. Like if you go 8 years ago, who would think of demonstrating in Juba? And now people saying that, oh, Machar is in prison. Machar is not moving. Okay, if Machar is not in Juba, the government in Juba will not allow you to exercise your right. But because we are opposition to the government is afraid. They cannot do that. Opposition is the eyes of government and the eyes of civilians. Okay, that's why we need to do a peaceful opposition, not rebellion over and over and over. Like you saying today, Junubin biga majani. Zola lera bukun ma soma, bukura sabah, bukun ma ispele maji, bukura tani, bukun ma ayo. Ya jama, this is something is wrong here. Something is really, we need to check ourselves. Are we okay? Lan mam kinita tukun rebel 10 times. Zol wahed bas. Bukun ma machar, bukura sabah tabu. Yani ta shunde yani. But then
KitGwang must be, you see you another side of it. KitGwang 2 will be there.
Yes. Yeah. Very soon. You remember Taban when he defected, they had 2 SPLM back then. Now KitGwang is Tala. Well, KitGwang Zatu in the months or years to come, they will divide themselves into 2 parts. And the thing goes on, and you know who is suffering is the simple people of South Sudan are suffering. Okay, that's why we are seeing, yes, this government of President Kiir is not a good government, but there has to be a negotiation, peaceful negotiation with the government. If you go with gun, you know, it will not take us nowhere because we're going to kill ourselves and we're going to burn the villages. These are not towns; they are villages. It not even develop to be a town yet. Now Melkal is a ghost town. Now if we go to Bor, all the infrastructure that was built was destroyed by war, except Juba, even some part of Juba. You know, that's why people like me, I am being a veteran. I know the government is not good, but there will be a time. There will be a time where civilians can take the government out, and this policy is started by the people who lose for civil action. Is the right approach, but they lack organization, they lack coordination. And if we advise them in the future, let them do it correctly. Let them do it correctly. From here, I really thank Padang Media for allowing me to be with you guys. And I'm also very sorry for passing our brother Nasib Elijah Biach. May God rest his soul in peace. And thank you. Bye.
Ben Wilson wa coach. Coach will done but show half an hour.
Lala we'll talk conclusion, maybe 2 minutes each. So go ahead.
Aya yok yan be kedin tina kang taw ya mi jalla chan I will lock out chan wo bela dang meeting na kani. Yen kawana jengwel gal ma indep in lok to banam. Asa Jibril man king jam den king chieng man yani jam man kin rawar ci ba jam terwan manawa ma indep in lok to banam achan bu ma ye tupo on tong kana ko dal bi ko tekin kamana Jibril ira ni chol fil moon. I don't know where are they now. Yani they are really in big trouble. When ko wan lwel ka ya jama panan kana buok le ke chigam. Well, welcome back. Achin to Louis. Almem guys, I think it's a good analysis. Keka chuko loy ka almem nina derin wajah shabna عشان يكونوا ساهرين بالأعمال الجد المعاش فوق ده في between Awalak and Riek Machar forces and you know, but we are not talking about their own fighting, but maybe it will be a time. But they come here and they let us know. If you know Nuer language, you will know exactly what is going on in KitGwang. We know it very well, but we are controlling ourselves. We don't want to intervene to their own affair, you know. That's why we talk with our own, you know, corner to control our problem. So, 32 state will work, whether people like it or they don't like it. If you don't want to stay by yourself alone, leave me alone, man. You stay. So, Kir Mayadi, that the time will come in 32 state is logic and it's working and it will be good and it's a solution to Upper Nile State, period. لو نادا تانين ما دارين كلا تدين بس في Upper Nile وخلي ولا تانين ده يقول سو لكن معانا بيت you know ثلاثة قبائل ديل كده بليز أقسمونا خلي يشلوك يقول في مهلو أقسم يشلوك ذات لأن يشلوك براو بنفوذ منه مشكلة ذات في قرق الله they have their own big problem you know برضو تعال نورنا في جكن وقاوير ومنو أقسمهم برضو وديو أي زول يقول في بيته ودينا حقنا ده نقول كاجيان نوزن Upper Nile لو ما بان قال يا جماعة دايرين نقول معكم كلام ما في مشكلة بنضيفوا لأن they don't want to stay alone like جبريل قالوا بنضيفوا ويقول ما لانه نحن ما قاعدين نشاكل معهم you know هم يعوا بيشاكلونا لكن نحن ما بنشاكلهم so لكن كلام نوير وشلوك ده كده بليز أقسمونا إلى بيت لو بيجا ملكال تاون يلا بعد نيجي نقابل فوق ده ياو كلام أنا بقوله thank you so much guys.
Thank you, Coach. I think we come to the conclusion. Thank you for those who are watching with us. We were trying to try our best with analysis. So take what you think is true and leave what you think is not true. All in all, they are our own opinion and we are entitled about it. So to me, KitGwang declaration is a setback of the peace in South Sudan, and then particularly in Upper Nile. So I disagree with their declaration. Like we asked the question from the guy, they are totally different party now. They are not IO anymore, even though they call themselves IO. No, they are not. So that is the setback we are talking about. I will thank you again, Padang, to keep vigilant, keep their eyes open. These people, they are very still active to fight themselves anytime, anywhere. The PCCA, the People Coalition Civil Action, also are a problem to this peace agreement. They don't believe in peace. It's like the people of KitGwang. They say there is no peace. And that's peace Kawajat are supporting it. Kawajat, whom they believe they are the real people who can do the thing. So those two groups are really need to be seen in two eyes by the South Sudanese. The reason they are calling the revolution that they are not to be part of it on the ground of the capital city of South Sudan or the other capital state city. So this is where we were talking about it, and I think, like I said, you can take what you think is good, and but I will advise South Sudanese. I know we all become politicians. I know we all become disgusting, but let's try to analyze the things. Whether you want to rebel, try to analyze, think about it, how long it will take, why I am rebelling, what is the reason why I'm rebel, is that a good decision I am making based on this I see. Ask yourself a question and then analyze what will be the advantage and disadvantage. So tonight, I think we will not talk more. The Maluz issue, please, if there are people still watching there, those of Maluz County, the protester leaders, you can call us and let us know whether the thing are already started or not. So these were the few message to you guys. Again, for those who are close, I want to get Elizabeth Cool. Alle biwog twitch karang the chief biography de chia loy to work on the team one lakin will need a time look at download fee with the CD and go with another question. Today we were not prepared for that. Our technician team, they were not here with us. So again, we took it late, I think we'll be around next time or then I think the look may come to show tonight if nothing changed. Or anything happen between tomorrow and Monday, because it's Louis by Panda Western Canada and America. It's a holiday. So we can come up if there are any new things. So I've been in challenge or cousin challenge, Jibril in challenge, your participation. We'll meet again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben Wilson Wall. Thank you, Ben Akoj, Brother Jibril. I would like also to thank the Jing Padang audience, those who have joined us interacting through the comment. Thank you very much for making this show more interesting, because without audience will not be much interesting. We have always concerned about South Sudan, and that's why we are here. We have given what we, based on our ability, the issue that affecting South Sudan, especially the KitGwang declaration, the impact that it may have in South Sudan in terms of security, and particularly in Greater Upper Nile and Upper Nile, but because if it happen, the worst case scenario that war break out again will, in fact, the livelihood of our people, especially the Jing Padang areas, all the way from Rang to PG. We are always victim of whether it's a misunderstanding within the rebel in themselves, or within the government, and the government that the arm of opposition. Whether the fight within the rebellion is also a South Sudanese loss of life, because anyone that will be killed from each side is South Sudanese, and there should be no need for people of South Sudan to continue to lose this young soul because of the issue of the war. And that's why we came out to try to justify it, why we think that it was not a good decision, but we are not here to judge them, and they have their own decision that they have taken. But our concern was what will be the impact in terms of security. The People Coalition for Civil Action is also, it was a miscalculation, because these people were the people that were actually working with the government, working for the government. If they think that the government did not, provide services to the people of South Sudan, the main is not to go to the street and try to topple this government through popular uprising. South Sudan continue to have the arm in all corners of South Sudan, and the country that is still at war with itself cannot be actually accept, especially when it comes to the innocent people that will go to the street to try to topple this government. Because, of course, the government will be in defense to defend themselves, whether you are calling it peaceful, not peaceful, as long as your objective is to topple the government, is no longer merit, will be the violation of the constitution of people of South Sudan. And also, we don't want that to happen. Try to go back, draw your timetable, and wait for election to come. And if you want to contest, to think that will change this government, will be a good way of going to the poll and try to pitch in your why you think that you are the better option that can lead that South Sudan. We know that the Asylum-led government has come short for so many things, because having the country is not only enough, but there should be enough to provide services and the people of South Sudan, including security. We are in agreement in so many things that the government did not provide to the people of South Sudan, but we are in disagreement of how you want it to be changed, and that's why we against this PCCA. The announcement was there. We'll continue to follow up with the Maluth uprising, Maluth demonstration that demand the services that was done this year. We'll follow up with them, the leaders of the civil society that was brought here when they were on the street, and they will tell us the memorandum of understanding that was signed between the Maluth civil society, Ministry of Petroleum, what was implemented and what has not been implemented. We want to continue to follow up The last thing is that our condolences to the family of the late General Elijah Bianyukur, the people of Dangjol community, Padang, and also South Sudan and Upper Nile in particular. I'll be closing this using the song. We have some other commitment to say it. I will maybe come live tomorrow, especially my live will focus on Jing Padang community in Canada. I may come here tomorrow for 1 hour when our people will be engaged. I sent out the message the night before that the Jing community in Canada will, Padang community in Canada will have a conference that will actually take place in December, and hopefully people will be able to, the members will tune in and will prepare, for what we want to take place in that December year. But the better we do it early now, so that give this message to our people, they will be able to be in better standing. So I will play the song. Work chakale yokai jing Padang media yokai dai. Brother Jibril, thank you. All the viewers, thank you very much. Ben Wilson Wal, didn't bata ko abugyo thiok. Jadang kaba Martin. You're mute.
Ade mi duma lucha ka ting wane ka ya tuwar tuwa non de ga jidit ki tuwer to ko ngadi na ban yene good lakin wa ke ya ga video clip ya ka lo ya tuwar sometime ci ga pit yani ci ga yida be lwel ra le bi tuwar dom de den dom lakin ko wane ne ga building kan so we ga tuwar dom we go local media kun ka kuna lo yan bakke ka te ka ke clear ata le 2 minute video clip ayen wo jabe yuk we chuke lek ke yo jam tine chakting wan with media kriye benefit nam man tine yene ko won cham ko yit ko cham wo ko chuke wel chuke wel bi ay gubrio je bi krang di lo ayen kene ay ni ar ko bag bil ben tani ba ko ya update to ko ni woni ko ben biel can go ahead.
Thank you.
When a young lale joge, when a young lale. When a young lale, you a jello, with the When the young lad, you're the Lord, we are the local. One to know one girl, I can have one girl, Mudir. To know one girl, Mudir, I can have one girl, Mudir.
Thank you, Jing Padang. Have a good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you are.